GG! The Mouthful Podcast is brought to you by GoodGame.rock, the most welcoming gaming community on Facebook. Visit us at www.goodgame.rocks.
Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
But you know, body.
Making pancakes. Making
Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and that, of course, is David, aka Dream Twister. And this here is the real episode 326 of GG's Mouthful Podcast.
GG! See, I did not forget that. We did not forget.
After all this
that we
time,
do.
I had my doubts, sir.
GG.
I had some doubts. I figured I had to send you some sort of cue to make sure hey, do that.
Well, it could, I mean, it could still help. Don't worry. I can still use it, especially for when I try to talk about games that I have played and I don't remember the name of them.
Oh,
I'll be like, the one with the guy with the jumping. He's a plumber. Combat, that one, yes.
Yeah.
you go.
Know. Yeah. Combat with the Italian plumbers, right?
Italian plumbers. There you go. Yes. That's the one. The second one.
If you guys haven't noticed, it's been a little while since we been on the airwaves. If you're even out there, anyone, if you haven't noticed, we things happen, guys. Lifetime. You hear me? Life takes over sometimes, and
they have unsubscribed.
Yeah.
And they're saying the same. It's like, well, guys, life happens. But the podcast didn't happen, so goodbye.
Exactly. Thank you for the times that you were here, everyone.
Yes, exactly.
But no, we are officially, I guess, back for the moment, and
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I might not like the outcome at the end. Be like, let's just toss it.
We'll play it by ear, right? Yeah, we'll play it by ear and see what we do from there.
We might publish it. We might not. Who knows? It's gonna be a whole experience.
You may never even hear this. We may just be literally spitballing.
It's like episode 300.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's right.
episode.
That's right. 300 is still missing in action. Sir, how have you been these few weeks?
Sir, I went 2 weeks on a spiritual journey. Of still playing the same shitty games that I've been playing. No, actually, of going full blown Nintendo. Well, actually, I think I mentioned that.
You may have towards the end.
Yeah, I mentioned that, but it didn't last long. I'm back.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. I'm back.
Just realized that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know it. You're catching dust for me too. And I don't know when I'll ever get around to it. I don't miss it, that's for sure. And there's a particular thing that's going to make you laugh that I've been playing that will sort of connect to the Switch. But anyway, we'll get into that.
Finally, yes.
We'll get into that, of course, later. But first, guys, if this is your first time listening, welcome back.
Well, not if this is the first time listening.
Yeah. This is our first time podcasting. No. And thank you so much for listening. Please go, of course, to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. That is always rolling. And, of course, that is our Facebook group. And, of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do is we go into what we have been up to, which I have a feeling will take a significant amount of time. And then move on into maybe a news item or two. And then, of course, we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic, film versus movie.
Cinema.
Yeah.
Cinema.
Cinephiles. My wife saw me post this when I posted it back in the day. And she was just like, what's the difference? And I was like, honey, the fact that you have to ask is
that's actually the reason why we're doing that.
Exactly. The reason why it is even coming up. Films, the high level, to keep it high level. Films always have some sort of message or some sort of theme or some sort of something in the background that it wants, along with whatever the story they're showing you. And then, of course, movies are, hey, man, they're just meant to be enjoyed as is.
Mhm.
And of course, we're going to sort of compare notes, if you will, to see why we enjoy our particular either film or movie, and then maybe even try to talk each other into jumping to the other side, along with some films that have probably been watched in this last couple of weeks that we have been off. We may actually be using those as well, but we'll get into that, of course, later on. Mr. David Santos, I am so curious. What the hell have you been doing, sir?
You're gonna be so disappointed because you think I had 2 weeks to play some extraordinary things, but of course, no.
3 weeks almost.
3 weeks, yeah, and I'm still playing the same old fucking Horizon. No,
Oh my god, really? Seriously?
well, I'll get there.
Okay.
Let me start with I finished Super Metroid Remake, also known as Metroid Dread,
How
but it
was
might as well be called Super Metroid Remake because that's what it is in reality.
Hmm.
It's a really good game.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I mean it's Metroid, so classic 2D, not super gimmicks. Also not any awesome first person Metroid Prime goodness.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm
I,
always partial to the side-scrolling ones myself, but I hear you.
no, I know, and honestly, to me, the Metroid experience is that it's just they did a really good job with Metroid Prime, and I still can't believe that they haven't been able to. They haven't. It's what it is. Let's call it what it is. They haven't been able to make that magic again. They tried doing something weird with Other M, which we don't talk about.
Nope.
And they just couldn't. They failed miserably. And then they had that series on the back burner, and they decided to bring it back with Metroid Dread. And Metroid Dread, it's a really good game, and it ends up being really good because it is a typical Metroid game, no more, no less. Yeah, it's a definitely a throwback. I don't joke when I say it's probably could have been considered a Super Metroid remake, because even though it doesn't follow the same storyline, everything you're doing is the same. Your weapons are the same. You got different bosses, yes, but the it's amazing the fact that I didn't remember until I had to rewatch some of the old some Super Metroid runs just to see. They had this weapon here. Do they have the wave gun? Do they have the power bomb? Do they have the thing that makes you run really fast and the screw attack and all that kind of stuff? It's like, yep, all that shit is there. It's exactly like that. No more, no less. And it's fine. That it works. The gameplay feels super awesome. The game runs great, either docked in Switch dock mode or portable. It's a challenging game, without being stupid hard. It doesn't try to be the hardcore gamer type of game. It's a game that a normal person could play. It's I do recommend it if you have a Switch. Why not? It is $60. It's a little steep, I feel, but at the same time, that game was fairly maybe 15 hours, maybe 12, 15 hours, maybe.
That's a good one for me.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Just because it's a side scroller doesn't mean that it automatically needs to be put down in the $40 range.
The bargain bin range. Yeah.
Right. The game is great. I think I did a good, bad, and ugly last time. I'm just gonna like revisit it real quick after finishing the game. The good is everything that I just mentioned already. You're gonna notice that I didn't mention music this time because I didn't think the music on this game it's serviceable. It's nothing memorable except for the extremely memorable music, soundtrack that you have always that you've always that they're in every Metroid game almost. I feel
Yeah.
at this point, um, a lot of them straight from Super Metroid. That's what I have said. This game reminds me of Super
Yeah,
Metroid a
yeah.
lot. But the original score is it's there's nothing particularly super memorable or anything like that. And maybe it's the fact that we've played this type of games already. Axiom Verge. Remember the first Axiom Verge? I haven't played the second one, but the first one,
Yeah, yeah.
Axiom Verge one, and Axiom Verge 2 to some extent, it has a decent soundtrack. But yeah, the soundtrack of Axiom Verge, the first one was phenomenal. and it doesn't have that, like this
So,
this
yeah,
this
gotcha.
metric felt like it was just normal. um the EMMIs or the EMIs or the EMIs or whatever the hell is the dread, the thing that you're
That
supposed to
causes
dread
dread, yeah.
in the game. They look super cool. Like I really like their design, but the implementation of it is fucking garbage bad, man. It is a pure fun block, let's call it.
Unblock.
Yes, instead of cock block. It's a
Oh,
fun
okay.
block.
Oh, gotcha,
Because it's
gotcha.
like you get to that area once first of all, they're contained, thank God. They're contained to specific areas of the map, and you will definitely know what areas they are because it has like a special door, and once you get on them, like the screen becomes a little fuzzy, and as long as they're alive in that area, and then you hear like the scanning sounds, like the blips and bloops scanning sounds that they make, and it's kind of creepy, and that part is cool. Like I like that. I really like that. I thought that was phenomenal. I thought that would have brought an element of like intrigue and surprise and scare and dread and everything. But I don't like the one hit death. I think I showed you a video of how stupidly easy it was to get a game over once you get there. As you're playing the game, and yes, you're very powerful, but you can't be careless either. You want to know, you need to know what you're doing. But you're feeling fairly powerful. Once you get to those things, it's like Resident Evil 2 annoyed me with Mr. X whenever he will show up because I felt like it will interrupt my fun. However, Miss even if you got caught, unless you got like cornered, like hardcore cornered, he wasn't a cheap one hit kill.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
There
You could still
was
get away.
ways to
Yeah.
get away from it, and I mean you could get damaged, you could get seriously damaged, but it was not just a matter of my my sleeve grazed on your on you. Now you're dead. Now you're dead. We're gonna show a cutscene where you get stabbed, or worse. It's
That's the other thing.
kind
It
of
cuts to a cutscene, and that I think is that's more egregious if you really think about it. It's like, I mean, I don't know how you would go around it, but yeah, it's just the fact that
you can skip it. You
yeah,
cannot skip. I mean,
and
it's
that's
not.
the other thing. Yeah, it's for the love. Does
It's
it reload
not.
fast at least?
No. Yeah.
I guess
I don't think
technically
it's.
no, right? Because it's probably reloading behind that cutscene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, it better be.
yeah.
It better be because the load times on that game was another thing that annoyed me a little bit. The good thing it was not It's not super bad. It was just in whenever you're traveling from area to area, which
Mhm.
is kind of understandable, but those loading screens like reminded me, like made me think, like, wait a minute, is this loading from a CD or something that I know? I don't know why this is taking so long. Um, but the from the game over to getting back, um, it was. I mean, you have to press a button if you want to continue. If you want to continue,
Mhm.
so it's not automatic. You can't skip the cutscene, and let's say it lasts like, I don't know, 3-4 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe. It's not like super long or anything like that. It's just continuously getting it because, again, you don't get a chance. You your performance needs to be flawless.
Yeah.
If you get touched, you die, and that was fucking annoying.
Yeah. It would be.
Especially when you cannot kill it, you cannot slow it down, except when you get a power up, basically by defeating a weak like mini boss. You get a power up, which you could use that overpowers your arm cannon,
Mhm.
and like it fires really really fast. You're supposed to be like constantly like barraging with almost like a minigun basically,
Jeez.
and then it destroys whatever his face shield, which you got to make sure that you are constantly hitting it. If you sometimes it's difficult to point because of the controller itself. um it's difficult to like point to exactly the spot on the face that you need to hit it.
Mm.
And that thing is coming at you slow, as you're firing on his face, he's walking slowly. So you either know that you're gonna get it or get the hell out of the way, start running to an area where you can start, where you can get in position to start barraging him again with attacks. Once you destroy his shield mask or whatever, then his face is exposed, and then you do like a charge, like a Mega Man type charge power up attack that blows his head off, and then you kill it.
And then you
But
kill
then
it.
once
Okay.
you kill it, you always lose the power. You no longer have the gun, and it's not like you
Of
can
course.
keep the gun or anything. It's like once you have that, the stages, the area where that thing is, it closes. So it's not like you can just use that superpower weapon willy nilly and continue doing other stuff. No, you are forced to attack it and beat it, and then once you beat it, then it allows you to continue the game. So that's why I was calling it a fun block,
Mhm.
because it doesn't let you do anything else. And you could die there upwards of like 15-20 times before you get lucky. And it's not mega hard or anything like that. Again, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like at one point in the game, I was already like, you expect me to find the best spot to kill this guy, and I don't care. I'm just gonna YouTube to see where should I be standing to kill it, and get it over with, because this part is not fun.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's too bad because
Yeah.
the enemies are, they
But still,
look
you think
really
it's
cool.
really good considering. So
Yeah.
it's a 3.5, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I give it a
that's
three.
pretty good.
I give it a 3.5, and that's the score that is taking. That's gonna be the final score for it. I already spoke about the game having that Nintendo feel where the game feel as mature or as hardcore as a Saturday morning cartoon, which is fine, I guess, for what it is. There's very little to almost no narrative, and the story. I mean, don't ask me because I already forgot. I forgot what Metroid Dread was about. It didn't.
It's usually the same thing. I assume there's Metroid involved, and they
What,
need to be destroyed.
well, super spoilers for the next 10 seconds. um, there are no Metroids.
Oh, that's silly,
No.
then, isn't it?
No, they bring the X parasite or whatever, which makes the inhabitants of this place tougher.
Mm.
And it was a cool mechanic. And I guess I was fine at the end. I was like, okay, well, at least in that part, it's not so much Super Metroid, I guess, but it's still like it's still cool. You got a villain obviously that he's very mobile, and he goes with the ugly part of the game, which is that the last boss is basically Paris City.
Ah,
And
yes, your favorite.
yes, yes, it is. It took me it took me some time to beat it. Let's just say maybe a couple of days, and I don't mean of like completely like hours on it. No, mean like I'm trying it 2, 3, 4 fights. If I can get it down, I'm already frustrated. Nope, it waits until the next day. I need to go down. But to be fair, once you discover the way that you're meant to kill him, and then it's
doable.
it's still it's still challenging, but it's doable definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you see the credit and in the end, I mean a bunch of Spanish names because this was done by oh my god, what Mercury Stream
Studios.
with Mercury Stream from their Spaniard game development developers, and but yeah, that was it. That was nothing particularly grand. I mean, there's like a boss rush thing that unlocks, and I'm not gonna do that. So I'm as far as I know, I'm done with Metroid. I don't think I'm gonna go back. I was fairly thorough with the map because I do like the exploration aspect of it. I didn't care so much that, unlike a Metroidvania, in Metroid, you're not progressing or getting stronger as you're killing enemies. So sometimes you'll be traversing, going back and forth, and you realize that I can just keep these enemies. If they're not in my way, I don't need to kill them necessarily because
Oh yeah, for
I'm
sure.
progressing. It's not making me any stronger.
That's been typical in well, that's actually typical of
Not of all Metroidvanias because like
no,
I like.
Metroids. I was gonna say that's pretty
Oh
typical.
yeah,
of all
Metroid.
Metroids,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. No. The when where you get to because I like the aspect of even if I'm lost, I don't feel like I'm wasting time because I am constantly getting stronger. I'm still killing enemies. I'm still getting XP. Like I like that. So I don't mind getting lost in those games. When I was playing Blood Rain Ritual of the Night, that game is that game is get lost and for a while try to figure out where to go next, and it sounds like it's annoying, but because I was constantly progressing and getting myself stronger, like I didn't mind it that much.
Yeah,
and that game is great.
makes sense. Yeah.
This one is good. Metroid, it's satisfying. It's satisfying. And then from there, I jumped straight into the feature presentation. Xenoblade Chronicle 3.
Xenoblade Chronicle. I small inkling because Nick's friends were over and one of them said he's like, oh yeah, yes. I was like, that's right, that did come out.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder if Santos got onto that.
I wonder why the fuck does Santos get into those type of games, because those games are anime. Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong, nothing against anime or anything like that. It's just it either sticks or it falls like forget about it.
Yeah.
This one stuck. This one I was really enjoying. It's a lot of bullshit in it, I'll tell you, but
most of the
yeah. But I'll tell you one thing is that the graphics look nice. it doesn't run great because it's a Switch, but then again, that's expected. So when you're stuck in that 30 frames, like it makes you remember what 30 frames per second was, and make you think like, how did we actually?
Yeah.
How are we cool with this? Because it's not solid, perfect 30, isn't it? No, it's like it drops, and sometimes it jitters too much, and it is not the best experience. But that's fine. I was my and some great games have come out that they don't necessarily have to be like the super high end. And I was trying to be like, I will I will concentrate more on gameplay over the technical aspects of a game.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, I was enjoying it quite a bit. The music of this game is phenomenal, dude. It is so good. It's very well done. There are areas where, unfortunately for you, it has a little bit of bombasticness, but it's like you like to call it. But it's not terrible. It's not Dragon Warrior. It's
Is that
definitely
yeah?
not
Is that
Dragon Warrior
Dragon?
levels. You know,
Yeah, gotcha.
it's more like a crescendo as you're walking around the world and exploring.
Bombastic. Oh my
And
God.
yeah, because I always remember that you did not like
I
Dragon.
It just I couldn't. I mean, it's one of those things that at first you go, oh, okay, that's it. Well, that's a choice. Then after 30 minutes or so, I'm like, oh my God,
It's
this is
the
too
whole
long.
time.
It's like, oh my God.
The whole time. And to be fair, I never played that game far enough to know if that changes. And one of the things that Xenoblade Chronicle does is that the music changes depending on the region where you're at, and depending on the time of day that it is also.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like, it feels epic, which is a good feeling, when you're playing an RPG of that nature. The story is fucking anime nonsense, from what I gather.
Freeze.
You are, there is, the let me see how I can put it. 'Cause this will be hilarious to try to put together. So humans in this world live 10 years only, but they are I guess I guess they grow up really quick. So 10 years, it's a life. It's a lifetime, basically,
lifetime for them,
from a kid to young adult, basically, because a young adult, that's it. Their choices is to go back to the source. I'm gonna say like that because I don't remember exactly what it is, because it's some bullshit.
It's some bullshit.
Anyway, there's two factions have been fighting for centuries, probably millennia. They're just this. It's a whole civilization that is just known nothing else but war, fighting against each other. There is little explanation as of as of why. I won't say too much because I don't want to go into like spoiler territory, but I couldn't if I wanted, actually, because it's just confusing. The inciting incident happens, and next thing you know, you're with a larger group than the one that you started with, and that's another thing that I really like about the game. The character, if you're not just discovering new characters to add along the way, the main characters, they, at least so far, they seem to have been, they seem like you get them from hour probably 4 or 5. You have a full crew, and you're walking with them throughout. All of them show on the screen. All of them fight with you. All of them have really cool personalities. Like, you learn to, they are, I gotta say, they made these characters likable, which in an anime JRPG, that's not easy to pull off, because they usually go with the typical, like, cat sounding, or fucking annoying, teenage angst, person or something like that. It's like they don't do that. There's still some stereotypes, let's call them. There's some cool accents that I quite, that I enjoy. Um, and yeah, overall, it's good waifu material, I guess.
Okay.
You're like, okay, I'm interested. I mean, I'm listening.
Yeah.
No, I gotta say, my time with it, was good. Um, so that's the good part of it. The bad is a Nintendo game that likes to crash, and one of them crashes set me back an hour of gameplay.
Oh,
That's when I said, "Fuck
fuck
you,
this shit.
I'm
I'm out.
done." Yep,
Yeah.
that's when I
Yep.
was done. That's when I hung my hat. It's like I was enjoying you. You were not like super stellar or anything like that. But one of the things, I mean, I wouldn't have known because I've only put probably 20 hours on it, which is a hefty chunk.
20 hours on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
enjoying it.
that's-
I was in it. I was all
This
I
is
was
this is
all
what I'm trying to
upon.
say. Developers, it's time. Autosave should always be a thing.
Yes.
There is no excuse in this day and age to not have autosave. There's a reason why I stopped playing Persona 5 Strikers. And it's just
Yeah.
because, I'm saying, I didn't think that it's just weird. It's just like, first off, there wasn't a thing saying, hey, make sure you save because there's no autosave. It's like you always see everything says in the beginning, hey, when you see this, it's an autosave. When you see this, it's an autosave.
Yes.
And it's like, boom, gone. And I tried. I was frustrated, but I tried. And so I hear you, man. I hear you.
Oh,
When
dude,
games
I
have
was
that and you fall into that, no, you're a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Figure that shit out.
It is so disappointing because I was like, I even remember I was in bed. I was having a good time with it. I had maybe an extra hour before I actually had to go to bed because I worked the next day. But like I was comfortable. I was in the zone. I was completely into the story. The game crashes, and I'm like, oh no. Like I already felt it. Like, oh no. I don't remember this being saved anywhere. I don't want to repeat what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that I at least saved somewhere, that I may lose 10 minutes tops or something like that. That would be annoying. What, a whole hour?
Yeah.
No, I don't have
excuse.
time to waste
There's no
on
excuse.
replaying that, doing, stuff that I would have already discovered that it's not going to be like amazing or anything else anymore.
No excuse. And this game, and I had to look it up. I was just curious. I don't know if you're curious about it, but it's not a short game.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And that's one of the reasons I read nothing but great reviews on it.
Mhm.
Everyone was hyping it up. It was the Nintendo Switch game or RPG. And after Xenoblade 2, which I played, and it was it was a bit of the same. It was still a decent game. I was just not in the right mindset for it. I wanted to have that epic experience, and I wanted it to be something like really like I didn't mind it being meaty if I was actually in it. And the whole time that I was playing this game, even with the convoluted bullshit storyline, I still care about the characters. I still care about the motivations and about the things that that they were doing. And I wanted, I had an interest on seeing it through, which is which is what I like when games grab me.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go back, after after an hour. And some might say, well, that's not too much. That's an hour. It kind of is. For now, I don't have the same game time. I'm not. I don't see myself going back to it. After this, maybe
Right, yeah.
I don't know. But I also was concerned because even 20 hours in, I was still getting tutorials for
Oh, dear
bullshit
Lord.
systems that the game wanted to
That
implement
is so
to
typical
show.
of them, dude. Even Tales of Arise did that. And
It's
then it started with fucking Persona, you know what I mean? It's like,
so,
fucking
yeah,
hell, you know what I mean?
it's ridiculous, and it's just text. Like it expects you to know these things. Dude,
Hmm.
the so the fighting system it's fun. I'm gonna say it is entertaining. It's not like flashy, super cool like Tales of Arise was. I like that fighting. But even that fighting was a lot of flashiness, but it was kind of simple to manage. This one is a managing nightmare. I
Mhm.
mean, half of the time you don't even have a chance to look at the flashiness of this on the screen because you're looking at button prompts and making sure your cooldowns are set, and then the 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 control layout of this game is a fucking nightmare. So if you want to heal, you have to hold hold the left trigger and start clicking the bumpers while your left trigger button is pressed, by the way, uh, on a switch, by the way. um Trying to frantically look for your healer so that you know so that you could try to save this person that is about dying. More often than not, the difficult battles that I had, it was just me going rouletting each character, just like you attack this, you attack this, you attack, but without thinking of the actions. No, just looking to see, okay, which of your attacks is not on cooldown. And regardless of if I need to be positioned in some areas, which in some attacks you want to be positioned like on the back or on the side to make more damage. But because it's so hectic, like regardless of where you're located, like it doesn't matter, just whatever attack is not on cooldown, just do it. I need to get to the next person and give him commands. And it gets some might enjoy that. I did not like the hecticness of it. I like that it was different, but it wasn't the best method because it's not like the fights at least look awesome, like the Tales of Arise ones,
Yeah, those would be cool.
or a Final Fantasy VII remake or something like that.
Mhm.
No, it was just you were still at the end of the day just stuck wherever the area where you were, just swinging a sword. And regardless of if you were close to the enemy or not, as long as you were within the area, it'll still register a hit. So position didn't really matter that much. So that was that was an aspect that I was like, okay, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll learn it. And to be fair, I was getting the hang of some things, but that was a problem. Every time I learned something, a new system will show up, and it was hard to keep track of everything. So yeah, no, that I'm that game. I might just say, let's say this because I was enjoying what I was playing. I'm gonna put it on the back burner, and if it happens to surface again, then I'll gladly grab it. But right now, I have no care to touch it.
Yeah.
I
Don't
don't
blame
care
you.
going back
Don't
to
blame you. Like I
Xenoblade
said, I immediately say, nope, done, out. I was like, I can't. Well, not immediately. I tried. I did say I tried, but once I made that call, I was like, nope. And anytime I look at it, it's the thing that's gonna come because the difference there is yours crashed.
Uh,
But at the same time, you kind of, I guess you have it ingrained in you to be saving and stuff like that. I play so many games don't require that because you don't fucking need that anymore. But
yeah.
so in my scenario, it was really my fault. It's like I should have fucking saved, but I'm like, it just should be saving. It just should
No,
be
at this
saving.
point,
It just at this point
it
should be
should
saving.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a quality of life thing, guys. It just should be saving. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And this is a Nintendo polish game. You would expect it to have some sort of a better polish or anything like that, but like I've never seen the Switch crash, as much as I've seen it with this game.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's because it's
this
just
is
too
it.
much now. The Switch chose an older architecture that they have, and with as with anything, you know what I'm saying, if you already chose something that was, I don't want to say it was dated when it was
Mhm.
for, but it was kind of already, a little bit, and so
Yeah,
now we're basically like years ahead of it, you know what I mean, but they still
yeah,
have to keep up, when it comes to gameplay, games that they output. So that's why you have games like that. The game is probably just too much for the Switch to fucking handle. You know what I mean? It's in
Probably.
the in the
And then
in
with
the end.
mobile systems, and
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
hard to
put
keep
that shit
track.
on fucking Xbox or Sony, and I guarantee that shit'll probably run just fine. You know what I mean?
Oh
But
man, if
I
if
think
only if only yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's a shame. I would have. There are people playing this game at 60 frames per second and with the best graphics and everything. Those people are called pirates.
Mhm.
And they get, they emulate the shit out of it and they're playing the better version of it.
Don't blame them. I mean, at some point you got to go. Well, you know what? Someone had to do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Not that we're condoning or anything like that.
no, 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 no. But
Um,
someone had to do it. No, just kidding.
someone had to exactly. Someone had
Because
to send
clearly
it
it's
over.
not Monolith. You know what I'm saying?
Since we're not gonna get a PC port of it anytime soon,
Yeah.
forever. Speaking of PC ports,
Oh.
I also have been playing Marvel Spider-Man on
That good old
PC.
gem.
Yes, and let me tell you, Marvel Spider-Man on PC is a god tier port, and mixes are king. I mean, when I tell you, bro, that this is a god level tier port, I'm telling you that they slammed it the fuck out of the park with how well they did. It supports everything. It just makes me so happy that I was
That's hilarious. No, I remember Insomniac, I follow Insomniac on Twitter and shit like that. And they posted that the one thing that made me go, okay, all right, you guys got it. Because this if there was ever a reason to invest, it would be that. Was it the like ultra wide? The ultra wide, yeah, when it just kept widening it out. I was like, yeah. At that point, there's just no denying. There's just no denying. You just go, yeah, that's okay. Yep. There are reasons to freaking enjoy this. Yeah.
Dude, that's I owed at one point in December. I owned an ultra wide of that nature, and I ended up returning it and just getting a fucking TV for as a monitor. But I would have kept it just for that game if I would have known that game running ultra wide looks phenomenal, and it's not the bullshit ultra wide, which is hacked. They hacked the game to try to make it stretch.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, or make it stretchy like that, or the game was never supposed to. It was never supposed to support that screen resolution. So like it looks weird on the corners and it looks very fish-eyed or anything like that. No,
Yeah.
they worked on it. Nix's, God bless them. They really pour some care and some love on that. And they gave all the features that you want. You want ultra wide, you got ultra wide. You want fucking DLSS DLSS support on it. It's there. All right. You want the other technology that that is from AMD that it's almost like the same of the DLSS. Boom.
Sure,
It's there also. It's like whatever you want, whatever you guys want, it's there. You got accessibility options. It's like the works. I am so impressed and so happy with how stellar of a job you hear me talk a lot about good ports and bad ports, and I think we had the discussion of, hey, as long as the game runs,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. It should be, this is the game, this is the way the game was intended. If it was intended to run at 30 frames per second, it was intended to run at 30 frames per second. And I'll be like, no, because it's a PC. You have so much untapped power. You should be using it to the full advantage of, and that's exactly what Nixon did. Like everything. I mean, I'm surprised this shit doesn't have like VR support.
Cut to update coming in fall of 2022.
Dude,
Oh
when I
my
tell
God.
you, I'm that game. You know how the game has to feature. The game could be run on performance mode and on fidelity mode. Fidelity is 4K, performance is 1080p, but it runs at 60. You got the ray trace options. Like, no, I cranked all that shit up to max, 4K. Give me the full ray trace. Give me the 60 frames or more if you can run more. I can't run in more than 60, but the option is there. I love those guys, man.
Yeah. That is definitely especially with their move to get into to port over their top games. And let's be real, Spider-Man. I mean, sure, next month is you're getting probably what is the gem of PlayStation when it comes to critically acclaimed, like Last of Us. But when it comes to like just popularity and just everybody's in on, Spider-Man is that game. You know what I mean? And when they say, yeah, we're bringing it over to PC, it's like, whoa, that's a now this is not the occasional whatever. No, they obviously want in on this. And wisely done. And yeah, and if you're going to do that, invest in the studio that would help get you there, and not just invest in them, essentially acquire them. So it's like you're just now you're just locked. You're locked to for future. Basically, you're future proofing this. You know what I mean? It's like you will always have, a good, well, hopefully, because everybody has their moments, but for the most part, you will always have a good port, as you call it, but with all the bells and whistles that you should come to expect on PC. So
to be fair, they have actually been doing that. First it started with Horizon and Horizon. I remember when it came out, it wasn't perfect, but
but that was a Nixus.
It was there still. It was. And they made it. They made it work, and they passed it, and now it's awesome. Also, it's funny you mentioned Spider-Man. God of War is on PC, and that game still have more players than Spider-Man, but that's okay because Spider-Man sold extremely well on PC. I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
And in a couple of weeks or months or whatever, the Last of Us remake. So yeah, hands down, one of the best ports that I've experienced. Kudos to Nixis, and way to go, PlayStation. They already have like their page dedicated to PC games, so I mean, you could tell that, oh, this shit is serious. They're going all in on this, and
which is wise. It's a wise thing. I mean, it's an untapped market. They're just people who are not going to get a console. It's just that simple. They're not going to get a console. You know what I mean? It's like, well, in the end, the console really isn't what makes you the money.
Games is what you're trying to sell.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's a Microsoft thing of just giving fucking of trying to get the games on as many areas where as they can. And when I tell you they sell well, I'm talking about like millions and millions. I mean, it's no slouch. So I don't have the news piece that has how many they sold so far, but they were only lagging a bit behind God of War, and God of War was insane. So yeah, that was Spider-Man. But of course, this is a game that I've already played. So even though it's as smooth and as beautiful and everything, I'm not like actively on it 100%.
Yeah,
I'm
because you
just
played it.
grabbing it a
Yeah,
little
that whole
bit,
day. Yeah.
release it, I go back to it. So yeah, exactly. They released a patch recently. I don't know what they were trying to fix, because that game was. I mean, I guess some people had a little bit of issues with the game
Yeah,
crashing.
but that also speaks volumes again. That means they didn't just dump it and walked away. Like,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no,
no,
we're
they're
gonna,
supporting.
yeah.
Hey, they're doing the Lord's work on that. Don't worry, it is. They're caring for that. They are caring for that, and I'm very happy that they are. I'll continue to play, and I think in October we get Miles Morales.
Let me see.
Or sometime it's this one, and then this one has all the DLC because it's the
November. November.
so
No,
called
no, no,
remaster.
no. That's the original Mekagwen now. PC.
Yeah, sometime this year.
Coming to PC.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like friggin' Returnal. No. Friggin' Returnal. Oh, and I forgot to mention.
It says fall. Yeah, fall 2020.
It's fall
2022.
2020,
Sorry, 2022. Yeah.
2022, yeah. The game supports the dual sense.
The DualSense. Yeah. Oh,
It
hello.
does
Yeah.
support-
If they're gonna do this, they're gonna still do it right.
Well, unfortunately, they didn't do it
Oh, they
all
screwed
the
it
way
up?
right. It's just
Oh.
let's say they did as best as they could with what was allowed. What
Okay.
Sony allowed, possibly.
Gotcha.
What I mean by that, to not continue going around it, is that it has full dual sense support,
Mhm.
wired in. You need to connect it with a USB,
Okay.
because otherwise, if you don't connect it with the USB, then I guess the PC just even though Steam recognizes a dual sense, I guess it doesn't speak the language of I don't know
DualSense?
what it is. Maybe it's a
It's
licensing
not
thing or
fluent in
whatever.
DualSense.
Huh?
It's not fluent in DualSense.
It's not fluent in dual sense. No. And to be fair, that might be a good way of putting it, because when you connect the gamepad to the game, it feels like the game it's talking directly to the gamepad and vice versa.
Mm.
Whereas when you connect the DualSense in Steam, it's almost like Steam is translating. It's trying to translate DualSense into what is the X input? I think is what it's called, the standard Xbox layout.
Oh shit! I don't know.
Yeah, but whatever the madness is, who knows? But it's fine. It's total. I tried it and it worked flawlessly. I was like, oh shit, dual sense on PC. That's awesome. But it was just a shame that it wasn't available wirelessly, because I don't like to be tethered. So
Yeah, but you're at a PC though. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Did they do that on purpose? You think?
I'm not gonna say it was on purpose. I'm gonna say that they probably had to work some sort of limitation. I don't know if the limitation was a licensing thing or if it was a real system limitation of, I don't know, maybe Bluetooth or something. Who knows?
Okay.
But you know what? I'm gonna lean towards that, because if they've worked everything else to make this port as masterful as they have, I can't think of a reason why they wouldn't have been able to make it work, unless it is some sort of special Bluetooth thing that all PlayStation have, but PCs don't. So therefore, the only way to make it work in PC is if you hook it up directly through USB. I'm gonna believe that. I'm gonna choose to believe that.
Okay. That's the hill you're dying on. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I tell you though, I hooked up I hooked up my Xbox controller, and it still worked great. All the rumble and the things are there. It was not DualSense rumble. It was just rumble.
Just
but
rumble,
hey,
yeah.
In the middle of the game, you're not gonna.
Yeah, you're not really gonna tell the difference. Yeah.
You will notice in a game like Returnal, though, you wouldn't want to play.
Although
rumble.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, actually, no. Yeah, you will definitely know that.
Yes,
For
exactly.
Returnal.
Oh, the thing with Spiderman well, I don't remember if it's with Spiderman, but that you feel like the pressure sensitive, the pressure sensitivity of the triggers, you probably won't get.
To be honest with you, the only I never played Spider-Man on PlayStation 5, so I couldn't tell you what updates they put in because I've
You never
never gone
played?
back
You
to it.
know even Miles? No, Miles
No,
Morales.
no, I played everything on PlayStation 4.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I played it. By the time I got to PlayStation 5, the only ones that like stand out are Ratchet and Clank and Returnal. Those are the two
Oh
main
shit! Yeah.
standouts that you can just go, wow, this is wow, this is like
Damn.
some serious. Oh no, of course it's the little robot game. I forgot the name of that damn thing.
Oh,
Whatever.
Astros.
Astro's Playland or Playroom.
Man, you play Morales on PlayStation 4, man. I'm sorry.
No, don't be, sir. I mean,
Just kidding.
it's before the eyes were open, right? It's like what is it? Ignorance is bliss. So,
Yes. You don't know. Just grab it on a deal or something like that, and just put it in.
I mean, I have it. I think it's a free upgrade. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just I've done it already. I don't want to go back. I mean, maybe one day I would just
meant to be played.
I did because it was released where it was meant to be played.
Well, there's no denying that. Okay. Spider-Man. I don't have to score it because it is. We already know what type of game. Yeah. But if I were to score the port is obviously a 6 out of 5. Let me tell you, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I started feeling guilty. Then you were right. This is actually getting long.
Oh, I knew it, bro. I had no doubts.
I'm closing it though. Because I'm just gonna say that I went back trying to go full force into Horizon Forbidden West. I hate that game. I just hate it. I don't like Horizon. I feel anger when I'm playing it, but I can't waste 80 hours and say I did not beat it. So right now, you know what I'm doing? I am literally booking it to the end. I don't care what missions are incomplete. I don't care that my characters, my character doesn't have the full power of the weapon. I don't care about grabbing anything. No, I just want to see credits and then I'm done. And I can uninstall it and I can pretend that I never owned it. Wow. And the PC version, when it's released,
more like when you get it. But go ahead.
Well, you're gonna prevent that because you're gonna chop my hands off. I'm gonna need you to like.
I'm gonna fucking try.
I am because oh my god, that will be the stupidest thing that like oh god, I despise this game.
I don't know why you're doing this to yourself. Again, I really do not. It's not even. It is the cutting your losses is a better thing. You know what I mean? At some point, you cut your losses and just move on. So part of me is starting to think you may still be interested in something in here because I feel you should have just. I mean, there's just no way. There's just no
honestly,
way.
No, I don't care. But I just
you could think about this. The time that you put into this game, you could have just spent redoing that hour you lost in freaking. And the other one,
I know. And to be fair, Horizon hasn't. Well, actually, it had that one bug that I thought it was gonna block me from continuing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm saved." But then, unfortunately, I realized there was a way to get out of it by doing some doohickey bullshit, and it allowed me to continue. I was like, "Oh shit! I guess I have no choice but to finish this up." And I kind of want to have it under my belt to say, yes, I can tell you this game is trash because I beat it. Now, doesn't mean that the game is trash in objectively. Otherwise, it wouldn't have all the great scores that it had. Otherwise, Chaos wouldn't have fucking platinum it or anything like that. It is a good product. Mm-hmm. I don't care about it myself. In my opinion, this game is not probably gonna be 2.5 if I'm gracious, but that means nothing because at the end of the day, if you were to ask me, well, is it broken? No. I mean, it's not flawless, but it's not broken. It has a story for those that like, to know more. If you like bow and arrow, then this is a game for you. It's like, I don't care about bow and arrow. So anyway, that's enough. That's enough. No more games. No more games. And honestly, no more to say that I watched, because even though I watched a bunch of things, half of them I don't remember, and the other half was going to. So I had one of the weeks that we couldn't podcast. I had a horrible pain that happened suddenly out of nowhere. Thank God that it went away just as quick. But now I have to sleep with a night guard, because evidently I I grind my teeth when I sleep. So evidently that's causing me problems. So but that time I said, well, okay, since I can't enjoy gaming or anything like that, let's watch something. My wife and I had come out of finishing Ben Kenobi like
Oh,
a
yeah, the
couple
show.
of weeks back. And I gave my impressions. I told you that it was not super great. It was not terrible, but it wasn't super great either. But my wife was curious about the lore, and I was like, well, let me take this opportunity to actually properly introduce her
You
into
foster
the
this
world.
this curiosity
Yes,
correctly.
exactly. Because it was the perfect moment. I was like, okay,
Okay.
well, honey, let's watch Star
Never
Wars
gonna happen again.
or
Might
two.
as well,
It's
yeah.
never gonna happen. She hasn't she's watched them, but pieces here and there. She has never put together the characters.
Mm.
And therefore there wasn't any significance. The events didn't have any significance. So half of my enjoyment of rewatching the Star Wars movies again, from episode 1 all the way to episode 6, the only movies,
As
including
far
Rogue
as
One,
we're concerned, yeah.
as far as we're concerned, the only ones that matter. A big part of my enjoyment of rewatching it was realizing the stuff that she was finally getting, the pieces that she was putting together, watching her enjoy the movies for the first time. It's like it's like your dream of passing passing down to a son or a daughter, like the things that you like, and see if they have any interest or anything like that. And I'm not saying that suddenly she's like a converted Star Wars fan or anything like that,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, for sure.
watching her, having us discussions about it, and putting putting the events together, where this is what happened in the prequel. This is actually the forming of Darth Vader, and this is actually because remember, she was a blank slate when it came to that. She had no no knowledge of this movies, other than just the action pieces that she saw like here and there.
Yeah.
So not things like not realizing who the Emperor was this whole time until the moment, until the reveal, was kind of amazing, because you and I, we never had that, because we know who the fucking Emperor is. We knew from the from the moment it shows on the screen, as a senator, it's like, oh, isn't that yeah, that's. Then they're addressing you by name. It's like, yeah, we know this is not gonna be any shocker or anything like that. But she'll be watching like episode 2, for example, and we'll be looking at a scene with Palpatine, and she'll be saying like, I don't know if I trust this guy. So awesome.
Oh,
and
that's
it's so awesome because you have the innocence of not knowing that, that we would have had, because like it's a prequel, so of course we fucking know.
Yeah, we already
that
knew who he is. Yeah,
we
yeah.
already knew, unfortunately. But not knowing that, like, that's awesome.
That is awesome. Wow.
Yeah. So so another thing of watching the prequel now is that I have learned to appreciate what we have after the Disney takeover
Yeah.
and destruction of a beloved franchise. I have watched the series with a new, with a new renewed interest and care and love. Even the prequels. By the way, the episode 1, like I asked my wife, out of all the movies that we watched, which one's your favorite? She immediately got Rogue One.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
okay. Rogue
Definitely.
One.
I said it when we first. No, it wasn't that one. No, never mind. Wasn't
No,
that
you
one.
didn't go with us because we had to. We gave you the we sent you.
No, I know. But I'm saying, I think I said at the time that the movie came out, because I remember seeing it, and it was just like, this movie is way better than it should be. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
Oh,
so
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And no business being that good.
Rewatching it, for the second time, because I don't rewatch a lot of movies, so believe it or not, this was actually my second time rewatching Rogue One, and
The
it
whole
was like,
thing? Yeah.
man,
Mhm.
this movie is something else. It
Yeah.
is. It is amazing, and going from there, that the way it finishes until the contrast of, well, now you're going to episode 4.
Mhm.
And things are gonna be very different. And I
Yeah.
warned my wife, and she knew, she knew what to expect, because I warned her. It's like, honey, the technology is not gonna look the
1977.
same.
Keep that in mind,
Yeah,
please. Yeah,
the
yeah.
fights are not gonna be as crazy. The lightsaber fights are not gonna be as crazy. The space fight is not gonna be insane. She was impressed with the fact that the oh my god, what is his name? The Governor Tarkin. Governor Tarkin.
Grand
Looks,
Moff Tarkin, but go ahead.
Grand Moff, sorry, yes, Grand Moff Tarkin looks exactly the same in Rogue One as he looks in episode 4. I'm like, gee, I wonder why. And she didn't even notice.
Wait, she didn't know it was CG?
She didn't notice that it was a CG.
Wow.
It was really good. It was. I mean,
it was. Still, you can tell. Well, we can tell, right?
We can tell because we know.
we knew what he is. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But with that experiment, my wife not knowing that and realizing that is exactly what Disney proposed to do, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked to have a Grand Moff Tarkin, a computerized version of it. And it makes sense in the narrative. It makes so much sense, dude. I was loving it. I was like, we watch one every day.
With Star Wars,
huh?
Falling back in love with Star Wars.
Yeah, well, falling back in love with the fact that I was watching this with my wife, and that she was enjoying it, as well. It was good. It was great. I was, by episode 6. We've seen everything. She liked the ending. She liked the new ending of episode 6, having no reference to the original ending.
True,
and I showed her I showed her the episode on YouTube, the original ending. And she was like, "No, I think I like this one better because and this actually made me think when she said it conveys the everything that happened throughout all the movies, because now we have all the movies, obviously, including the prequels. The ending of 6, like, it closes that better, and of course it does. That was the whole purpose of changing that ending. That it has, that it shows Coruscant.
There's still some inconsistencies, because
I still like the original. Like, I still like the Jawa song and the thing like that. But
I do too. But what I'm saying is consistency. Seeing Anakin young Anakin as a ghost, and
Oh yeah,
everybody else is
young
old.
Anakin.
It's like,
Yeah,
okay, but
that's exactly. Yeah, she said that too. It was like, so his ghost because his ghost is young, but everybody else's ghost is
correct.
like
Yeah,
the
it's like,
old version.
well, it wasn't like that before.
The Force works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, exactly. All encompassing statement.
Yes, that's what we're gonna say. So yes, not much else to say about that except, man, I wish we had more movies like Rogue One, and because that was something special.
Yeah.
And we didn't watch Solo because why the fuck would we?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No, nah, no. That movie was
It was all right.
was
It
not
was yeah, nothing
trash.
right.
It was
Yeah,
all
it
right.
wasn't a
Yeah.
bad movie.
No,
It was
no.
completely unnecessary. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like for instance, Rogue One was one of those that we said this is an unnecessary thing because we already know what happened. We don't need to
Yeah.
see it. Then we see it and go, still
Oh,
unnecessary, but well fucking done.
yes,
So
yes.
then they do fucking Han Solo, and it's same exact reason. It's not necessary. We don't need it. And that one, on the other hand, came back with, "Yep, like we said, we didn't need it."
We didn't
You
need
know what
it.
I mean? It's not
Oh,
necessary.
that's the
Yeah.
same feeling you're gonna have when you watch Kenobi.
Kenobi.
It's gonna feel like, yep, this was
I keep
entertaining, whatever,
pushing
but it
that
was
shit to the
completely
back
not needed.
burner. I keep
Huh?
pushing it. I keep pushing that shit to the back burner on like
There's
just
no hurry.
completely. Like, oh, I just
No hurry whatsoever.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so yeah, that
Oh,
is.
is that so? That's it. We're at the type. Oh, okay.
I have to go to somewhere because
All right. Well, sir,
otherwise I'm not gonna dump two whole week, three, almost a month of stuff here.
I'm gonna crack my knuckles here and stretch for a second.
And
I advise you to
here
sit
we
down, sit down, buckle up, and enjoy said ride. I'm gonna start with the movies just to get these out of the way because one, there's a lot of them, and just gonna throw it out there. First off, I want to go back real quick. Finish season 3 of The Boys, and
yes.
holy shit, that fucking show is just batshit insane, bro. Batshit insane. That is all. I'm not gonna say anything else. It's
We spoke a little
it
bit
is
about
gory.
that.
Yeah, because I was halfway at that point. It is gory. It is, but it's more of that humorous gore. But dude,
Mhm.
it gets to the point of it just goes. It just says, I don't care where the line is. We're just gonna keep walking. You know what I mean?
The moment that one of those episodes was a literal orgy, I was like,
yeah, but that was overblown. To be fair, that was actually
was it overblown?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I was like, okay, that wasn't as
It was like a Mass Effect sex scene.
no, it wasn't that PG either. But it was definitely out there, and it was actually more funny than anything else. But anyway, it's just like I said, it's a crazy show. Still really good. I enjoyed everything that's going on in the show. I think this was a very strong season. But my God, even my wife was just like, my God, I don't remember it being this. I was like, I know, and it was. We just don't remember.
It's just gonna continue pushing that envelope.
And it's just going to continue. It's going to
That's the
continue.
thing,
And
yeah.
to be fair, so I looked it up. To be fair, the graphic novel, which it is, yes, of course, based off a graphic novel,
How do you know?
is actually way worse. You know what I mean? It's just like, whoa, way worse than this. Okay, all right, go on with your bad self.
Is it bad in some countries?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to assume. You know what I mean? It's banned in some countries, and Japan must love it. You know what I mean? Is how that works. Anyway, so that's The Boys. Definitely a cool. I'm glad I got back to it. I checked out Netflix's The Gray Man. Yes, The Gray Man, which is, stars Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. And it is directed by the Russo brothers. You know them, of course, from the best Marvel film to date, which is Winter Soldier. And of course, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, some of the best Marvel had to offer. And this is a good movie, sir. This is a good movie. It is action packed.
Gray Man, babe. We got to put Gray Man on our list.
It's action packed, and the action is good. And, credit to the Russo brothers; they know how to film action.
Yeah.
I really do like Ryan Gosling in this. He's very, I don't know. He's playing a version of himself, which I guess you've probably seen in some movies. But he's just very quiet, and it speaks when he needs to speak, but doesn't really go much further than that. And I always kind of dig that version of him.
Yeah.
The Anna de Armas is in it, and she is fucking badass, bro. 2 movies so far.
So far, yes.
All right, she was in
Bundy?
the last Bond, the last James Bond film, the most recent James Bond film,
which I haven't seen yet.
And okay, well, this is just, she was badass in that. Okay, I just wish they would have had more in her in that movie, but the parts that she was there, badass. Here, she is more in the film, and she's still badass. And I was like, awesome. Yes. So I'm like, someone somewhere, please give us the Anna de Armas, special agent, whatever, make it happen, because
make it happen. He could be the first female Bond.
Yeah, absolutely. Shit. Anyway, my negatives would be that the story is fairly predictable. It's not something that's gonna, you're gonna not figure some of this stuff out. The villains are villains, bro. They might as well. Actually, one literally has a mustache. Fucking Chris Evans.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's not a twirling mustache. But he might as well have a twirling mustache, because he is just that. But to be fair, with his character, it was you can tell he was having a lot of fucking fun with it. You know what I mean? You could just tell, like, man, he's enjoying doing this shit right here. But then everybody else's, it is just like, well, somebody has to have a good reason, something that I can relate with. But no, everybody's is just bad. It's just bad to be bad.
For the sake of being bad.
It's like, no, come on. That's a little bit of a bummer. But again, that's not what you're coming to the movie for, right? You're coming to the movie, you want to see some action, and the Russo brothers deliver it, and you can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean? So I can it's definitely a recommend. If I'd give it a score, I'd probably give it a 3.0. Only because what is that? Good. It is 3.0. And
it's like a fun romp.
A fun romp, yeah, it's pretty much a fun romp. Definitely, and it's on Netflix. That's an easy win right there. You might as well watch it, right?
There you go. Yeah.
I got a chance to see another movie. This was one of my wife's picks, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I just was a little shocked with with this, what it was portraying. It's called The Fallout. It's on HBO. It's an actually HBO film, so it'll always be on HBO. Unless fucking Discover decides to fuck shit up. But anyway, it's called The Fallout, and it's basically the Fallout that it's referring to is the events directly after a school shooting. And not that you're seeing anybody who's killed or anything like that. This is really just these young folks who went through it and what their lives are now afterward. It's actually way more funnier than that lets on, for the record, because the actors in this are really, really good. Jenna Ortega, Maddie Ziegler, they do an awesome role of delivering, what it is, and they're so in their lives are slowly falling apart, not realizing that it's connected. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, I'm fine. You know what I mean? But things are going wacky, and they're making decisions they don't normally make, and just like, you don't realize that you're just being affected by the fact that, hey, some guy, just crazy dude, just came into the school shooting a bunch of people up. You know what I mean? And then either I think he got killed, kill himself, whatever the case may be. I don't remember. But and the reason I'm talking openly with her, I'm pretty sure you have zero interest in this film.
No, actually, you mentioning it like that, it makes me, because you said, oh, it's actually funny that it led on, and I don't take it as funny as, oh, this is a comedy. No, I don't take it. It's more of a,
no, yeah, exactly.
What's he mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, the characters are endearing. The Jenna Ortega, which is the main character, is hilarious, dude. She just, I don't know. It's sometimes you see these young actors and you just go, man, I can't wait to see you get something like big, you know what I mean? It's like, hey,
Right.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
a power player out there, you know. And on top of that, she's Latina, so it's like, yeah, man, we need more of our own out there, you know, doing this shit.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's really good. It's a really good. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just kind of leave it at that.
What's the score? What's the score?
Oh, this one here, I would probably this one a 4.0. I think
A
it's
4.0.
4.0.
Holy shit.
The moments, I don't want to spoil it, but there's some moments where it's just like I was literally gripping the couch, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Uh,
it's like, whoa. And you just don't. It's in a crazy film, bro. Just leave it at that. It's a crazy film. It's like I didn't expect to have, you know, to just connect with it. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
on top of it, you think about this and just think about the shit that's happening now. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck,
Yeah.
how many kids are being damaged right now from shit like this? You know?
Yeah.
It's scary. But anyway, that's the Fallout. It is on HBO. It is one of their joints, so you can watch that at any point. I'm gonna run through some. Oh, the next one here. I do have to pause for a moment. Hulu has decided to make to release a film
Uh-huh.
day one on their servers, not even going to the theater. And to me personally, I feel that was a gross mistake on their part. I can see why they did it. There's some talk that, you know, it was already a deal, or it was kind of, it fell into the thing. So because this is the movie is Prey, and
Yes.
it's a 20th Century Fox film, something that was already in the works and being made before the purchase by Disney. So it just kind of fell by the wayside. I didn't know what to do with it. I think there was some plans that if it does release to the theater, then the streaming service that would get it would be HBO, which is a direct competitor of Disney's. Disney also owns Hulu, for the record. So so it just became this weird thing, you know, and they said, no, fuck it, we'll just release it in the thing. And my God, first off, I'm going to say, I'm not saying this is the best movie ever. No, I'm not saying that at all. And I'm definitely not saying yet that this is the best Predator film. However, this here is easily the best Predator film since Predator. You know, since the first one, yeah. It is, first off, what it does. First, it's directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who is a visually like a visual director. That he you know, he's bringing stuff to these, not just making action, even though it includes action. Visually, it's an excellent looking film. I am shocked, dude. I'm not even a kid. This is not even a joke. I've already seen this movie four times.
Holy
Already.
crap. Four
Okay.
times.
And the reason for that is, first off, it is easily digestible. It's only an hour and a half. It says an hour and 39 minutes. 7 of that is probably just the credits. So it's literally just an hour and a half film. There's no fat on this bone, on this meat. You know what I mean? It's just gives you what you came here for. You know what I mean? It just understands what a Predator movie should fucking be. And it's like, it's about the hunt. We don't need to know about, you know, the alien planet. We don't need to know that, you know, they're becoming whatever. It's like, no, just keep it fucking simple. He's here to hunt. He's chosen these the Comanche as prey, you know, or the Earth, right? Because apparently this is supposed to be the first time he comes to Earth, or the Predator species comes to Earth. And so obviously he doesn't know what the great game is, right? You know, who doesn't know which one is the species to whatever, and he figures it out along the way. And the special effects are good for the budget that it has. It doesn't really have much special effects as far as CG goes. A lot of it is actual practical, which is even better. You know what I mean? Fucking Amber Midhunter, bro, is, or Midthunder, Midthunder, is awesome, bro. This is badass without being a Rey. You know what I mean? From Star Wars. And you know, nothing against Rey, whatever. I still enjoy the character as well, but there's always been question marks. Okay, where does she get this, you know, whatever from? You know, how does she get to that point to be good? Yeah. And since it's never well, technically the last one I guess answers it, but we're not gonna go there. Anyway, here is there's just no denying, where her skill comes from, how she learns things. It's all visually done. You just point the thing, you can see it as it's happening. You just figure she's just figuring shit out. And it's not just her. She's her tribe are also badass. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, these guys are, you know what I mean? They're holding their own, for a little bit. The Predator's still Predator, you know what I mean? He's still a fucking, beast to handle.
A technological beast.
A technological beast. But say that be that as it may, the tech looks a little, shall we say, beta version of these things. Because this is like 300 years ago. It's like, okay, well, I guess they also have to advance their technology. You know what I mean? So it is just like, dude, it's just so much fucking
my
fun.
Apple Watch didn't work. I couldn't fire
it is
track my prey.
It's really, really good. I watched it the second time in the Comanche dub, which is essentially in the language of the Native Americans. And I heard later on that the initial push was that it should be in that. Like you would have to have the English dub.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, but studios are like, nope, no. Because the Predator, and to be fair, and that's all thanks to the prior Predators mostly. It's been in diminishing returns, because it just, and they're like, if we're gonna do this, we don't want to alienate, some of the people who don't want to listen to a foreign tongue because fucking Americans. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'm just saying that it is very good. The actors are, Amber Midthunder is known but not really big, and everybody else is new. There's one of them there who was a main character who basically before this film was literally working at a Target. You know what I mean? It's like, and these are all like real. This is all. Everyone here is a real native. You know what I mean? Of they may not be Comanche, but it's of some other tribe. So, which is even better. It's just you feel the authenticity of it. You know what I mean? And bro, I cannot recommend this higher. Again, it
sounds like a movie that would have done very well on the movie theater just for the sake of, well, it's a short one, so you can have more runs of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good word of mouth.
The word of mouth alone, I think, would have done this one just like Top Gun,
classic,
right? Everybody's like, okay, yeah, we'll go see Top Gun Mag, right? Word of mouth is why that shit's at $1 billion fucking dollars. You know what I mean? It's because it just keeps making money. You know what I mean? So that's the whole deal. That you have something this fun, and well made. That's the other important part. It's well made. Everything just sort of kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, this is I had to talk Jose Maldonado in the group because he does his own TikTok reviews, Stickman reviews, and that week he did Bullet Train, and I was just like, bro, where's the love for Prey, man? And he goes, oh, it's on my list. And then he did it, and obviously he just gave it a huge recommend. He's like, oh, it's unbelievable. It's like no one would have said. What it would have been even better is if no one said it was a Predator film and just release it as that, and you just find it later on. You go, wait, this is a Predator movie. You know what I mean?
But then the marketing would have.
That's the only problem. Yeah, the market. That's in this day and age, it's hard to do. But anyway, hard recommend. Because of that, I also watched the original Predator just to pace his comparison. Also because of that, I watched Predator 2. Also just kind of fill in some because I'm getting old. I forget shit sometimes. But anyway. And that's why I'm like, part of me kind of there can be an argument to be made that this is the best one, but I still stand that the first Predator is still the best one.
The first Predator is the Predator.
It's the one and
let's not get crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna skip through a few of these here.
Sir, you better not skip through the one.
Oh, no, relax. We're getting to it. God, we're getting to it, bro. Jeez.
Okay.
These are I rewatched Tag, by the way, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
I wanted to rewatch that again. Yes, the other day I was thinking of that. Actually, maybe a couple weeks ago. I was thinking of
How
Tag.
about that? Yeah, we're probably thinking
Yeah.
at the same time. It just came up. Actually, my wife was the one who brought it up. She goes, "You know what we watch?" Because we neither of us wanted to go into our list.
Oh,
It's like I don't want to
didn't want to
be,
watch.
yeah. And so I was like, well, let's just do something, whatever. And then we just
Just
threw on
rewatch.
Tag, and God, that movie's just silly and fun and
Uh,
a good evening. You know what I mean to have.
yes.
Um, I watched a couple of documentaries. Again, I'll go through these quick. One was Val, which is about Val Kilmer. It's actually his own documentary. If you don't know Val Kilmer, which is Iceman for the record in the original Top Gun, and God knows how many other roles
Um,
he's played. He played Batman in
Robert
Batman
Nichols.
Forever, yeah. And he got cancer in the throat or something like that. So right now he has like no voice box. So he's not working for the most part. Although we did, I don't know if that's a spoiler, but well, he's in the trailer. He's in Top Gun for a little bit. But anyway, for the most part, he's not obviously working. So it's just a little bit documentary. But it's documentary done on his life by him, but also narrated by his son. So that you seeing it, and it's all bunch of footage that he was obsessed with video cameras. And so he always had a video camera whenever he was on set and stuff like that. And
Wow.
and so he's kind of like almost piecing these things together. It's just such a shame to hear him too, because he sounds like it's like, oh man,
Yeah,
you have to have subtitles for that, Benito. It's really an interesting life that he's lived in, and a lot of different roles, and you can definitely see that if it was his choice, and I think he even says in the film, if it was his choice, he wouldn't have done Top Gun, because it would have just been too. He is more of a sort of, I don't say method actor, but just someone who wants something with substance. You know what I mean? And so a lot of the roles that he ended up with was more out of popularity, not really the things that he wanted to do, and stuff like that. And one of the last things he was doing was actually a Broadway show, a show that he was doing on the road, and that's when he ended up, unfortunately, getting the thing in the throat and all that. So anyway,
wow.
it's a Prime video, so it's on Prime, and it's really fast. I wanted to see it actually before I went to see Top Gun, because I kind of already knew he was in it, and but I never got around to it. So, but I checked it out, and it's good stuff. I mean, it's happy for the record. You know what I mean? It's sad for him because what he does, and you see him go to not Comic-Con, but whatever Comic-Con type of thing. There are, and it's everybody loves him for what certain things, but he loves other stuff that he's done. And anyway, it's an interesting one. If you're interested in that one. But the other one I saw was The Last Blockbuster, which still exists to this day, guys, in Bend, Oregon. This is basically a documentary on the history of Blockbuster and how the very last one is still standing in this little town in Oregon. Yeah, it's still there. Like you can look it up. It's still out there. People actually like visit. It's like it's almost like a tourist site. You know,
like
what
a
I mean?
landmark.
Yeah. And the same person who ran it when things were good is still there. It's family owned, and it's fascinating. The documentary has a bunch of actors and directors who come in and talk about how they're, that nostalgic feeling of going to a Blockbuster. And I used to always call it.
We ironically watch this on a streaming service.
I know. And let me tell you, there was, and you probably know this already, but this I think this is already common knowledge. The Netflix had. They were going to buy them, or they were something. They were going to combine together with Blockbuster, and they never did. Like the deal fell through or something like that, or maybe they even laughed at Netflix or some shit like that. And
right, back in you're talking about back in the days of when Netflix was still sending.
Yeah, when they were still the mail order DVDs. Yeah. Which I was all into.
That was actually Netflix.
Yeah. That was Netflix, exactly. Yeah.
Mail.
Yeah. And so anyway, it's a cool documentary to for sure. Definitely recommend those. I give those both those, I think, evenly at 3.5. They're really good. Definitely enjoyable.
Interesting. So interesting to what? Okay, all right.
Yeah, definitely enjoyable. The Last Blockbuster is actually a Netflix. Come to think of it, it's actually a Netflix documentary.
That sounds spiteful.
I think so, just a little bit. But
That's
hey,
fun.
one is here, one's not. And Val is on Prime. It's a Prime thing, so
That's
it'll always
Prime.
be there. Yeah. All right, 2 left here, real quick. Checked out a show on Hulu. Only 8 episodes, 30 minutes. Ridiculously good. Called The Bear. It is the story of a chef who was the head chef of what is probably the best restaurant in the world, or the most renowned restaurant in the world, only to end up inheriting a steak shop in Chicago that used to belong to his brother. And for some reason, he takes that on and he tries to make it a thing.
Challenge.
Yeah, to make it a challenge. Of course, he gets there and people are already there, who are friends of the family, and some are family. And it's just this headbutt of him trying to come in and do stuff and going against the system that's already there, and it is visceral, bro, and stressful and but also cool when you start seeing, them come together and make the food and all this stuff. And you can tell that there's a plan in the background. There's also this overarching story arc as to how he ended up inheriting it, which wasn't at the best of circumstances, but excellently acted. This is good shit, bro. Only 8 episodes. They're half an hour at most, I think.
But legitimate. I mean, this is this is real life stuff, or this is acted.
No. This is scripted. This is a story. This is not a real life.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. This is a scripted television, basically, and it's just good, man. It's just really, really good. I've heard good stuff about it. It was actually from my wife's list, so I didn't have to put it on mine, so that's good. But but yeah,
it works that way.
Yeah, yeah. When she mentioned, I was like,
"You're not supposed to enjoy my list."
I know. But dude, this is some really good shit. Really, really, really good shit. Well done. Hilarious on top of that too. I mean, there's so much fucking cursing in this. It's so real, dude. I was like, oh my god.
That's chef tend to do.
Yeah,
From time to always.
Yeah. Throwing shit, breaking shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, how in the hell?
I see Hell Kitchen.
Well, there you go. Anyway, highly recommend that right there. I would probably give, I don't know if I would give it a 4.5, but I definitely give it a 4. It is great. It is definitely a great show.
That tasted like a 4.
Yeah, it is definitely great. Last but certainly not least,
lay it on me, sir.
It's a little indie title by this unknown director. You may have heard of him. He's called Michael Bay. Yeah, does that sound familiar? No,
Michael Bay, a director?
Bay.
No, isn't he like a visual guy?
The
special effects dude. I heard he likes explosions.
He just likes explosions, yeah, and slow motion and ass
and crotch shots,
and breast shots, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And lens flares.
Yeah, and the pan around, because it always goes around the heroes at some point from a different angle. But
I'm pretty sure we saw all of this in this movie.
Oh, for sure, bro. This is like there's no. I was like, of course, here we go. Pain and Gain, guys. Pain and Gain.
Yes.
2013's Pain and Gain, starring Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne Johnson, and Anthony Mackie.
Holy shit! I forgot. I even forgot that Dwayne Johnson was in this thing. Holy fuck! Wow! Yeah. I need to watch this movie again.
Basically, 3 bodybuilders. Oh! By the way, as you know, and I'm sure you've pointed out when you reviewed it back when you saw it, based on a true story, completely. And oh my god, the sad part is that all of me was going, this shit is probably happening right now. This is how crazy this fucking world is. This shit is probably happening right now. Yeah, these 3 bodybuilders, basically come up with some sort of act of extortion. And I think they kidnap the folks and they try to kill them, and things doesn't go out their way, and it is insane. The level. I mean, at some point I was just disgusted. I was disgusted that these folks even existed, and lived in the Miami area apparently.
Yeah.
Or was it I don't remember.
It was Miami.
It was Miami, yeah. And
Fort
and
Lauderdale, maybe. I think it was something like that.
somewhere down there, yeah. And
It was Dirty South.
yeah, it is funny. It is a funny movie. Anthony Mackie is very funny in it. Dwayne Johnson is just an idiot. Something just you don't normally see from him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He is someone who comes out of jail. He's all about born again Christian, and then before you know it, he's coked up, acting a fool everywhere, and it's like, what in the world? I don't know how I feel about this movie, sir.
You can lay down.
ways.
Honestly, I the only thing I want from you is your most honest opinion of it, the most direct, brutal. Like I don't care. I needed a reaction. I didn't care if it was gonna be good or bad. It was a weird movie.
It is a
And I
very
needed-
strange movie.
Yeah.
It is a very strange movie. The Mark Wahlberg plays the main character, who obviously has this uncanny ability of talking people into stuff, which
Yeah.
I know we all know of folks that are like that.
Right.
And so my issue with it is the film is it feels like it's glorifying something it probably shouldn't glorify. You know what I mean? And that's I think my main hang up. Removing that to the side, it is a funny movie. It is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It is just unbelievable, the what they go through. And
It's not the best message, but just the mere fact that this is, oh, by the way, this was based on a true story.
Oh my god! And even
is what-
stops. It stops to remind you at one point too, because you just. By the way, in case you still have, in case that shit you haven't missed it, the beginning. This is still, and I think that's it. This is still based on a true story. It's like wow, and
Wow, indeed.
it's just insane that and scary in many ways.
Yeah.
Because there are people who are like this. You know what I mean? Who just say, I need to get what I need to get, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get it. And it's just it's
it's
absolutely crazy.
It's very it's not like the movie is about it purely, but it is very dehumanizing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The shit that they do to several folks,
Yes.
just to get on well, at that point, just to get money. Essentially, that's what the point is, to get money.
It's the same as why.
Yeah. The same old why, yeah. And just the levels of what they go through, and the fuck ups, bro. That was probably the craziest thing. I was like, these are fucking idiots. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're just, oh my god, bro.
How did I ended up watching this movie is beyond, like, who convinced, like where did I hear about it that I suddenly sat down to watch it? Because I don't remember it being a trailer that I would have been like, oh yeah, I want to see what that is about. Or maybe it was. Maybe I saw.
Maybe it was. Yeah. Because the trailer, you see that. I mean, it is a Michael Bay film. So because of that,
and I didn't know that to the end, bro. When I saw directed by, I was like, what?
Yeah. I don't know how you didn't. I didn't know how you didn't know that, because just from the look of the film, I was like, "Oh, this is."
Oh, I don't capture those things. Like I'm not that keen observant.
It is.
You probably saw. Honestly, I don't even remember. Anything particular that would have clued me in. I'm curious if you noticed it. Evidently, it looks like there was a lot of it. Evidently, also.
I also knew that before watching the movie, but yes, you do.
You know where to look.
You do see some of the Michael Bay traits. The fast cuts, the angle, especially when slow motion walking or so much, it's always like at a lower angle, and there's not much explosions because there's not really much explosions in the actual the story, the real life story. So now you're just gonna add explosions for nothing. But it's definitely just some. I mean, there's little bits that just reminded me of Bad Boys 2. You know what I mean? With the handling of the bodies, and it's like, oh yeah, this is, you know, it's comedic and almost, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I felt it, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it other than to say it is I can see why this is a guilty pleasure film for yourself. It's literally the epitome of a guilty pleasure, because you will feel guilty laughing and enjoying this if you do enjoy it. You know what I mean? And if you don't, you know,
that's a lot about my character.
No, because I mean, in the end, you're still enjoying a piece of pop. You know, it's pop culture. In the end, that's what it's done. That's what it's there for. It's meant to be enjoyed that way. So, it's just the tale behind it is like, I can't.
Did your wife watch it with you?
Yeah.
What did she think?
She thought it was insane. She was just like, I don't believe it. I was like, I know. Apparently it's real too. Apparently it's real.
There's no Santos that told me to watch this.
No.
I mean, never mind that I'm watching fucking boys. You know, man. This draws the line.
Oh. Well, one is clearly fiction, bro. You know what I mean? It's like that's the line. You know what I mean? Because this is, one is fiction. The other one is like, oh, so this actually all happened. Fuck, you know, and it happened in this manner. You know,
this manner, and in our country, in our city,
in our state. You know, it's like literally, and not long ago, we were alive when this was happening. You know, so yeah, it's just. That shit was crazy, bro. But that one, I'm gonna have to give that one a 3.5. I think it was really good. Oh, in the end, it was really good. It's questionable when it comes to, you know, how this should be enjoyed. You know what I mean? It's just, again, because it's coming from Michael Bay and the way he portrays his films, it feels like it's glorifying it. You know what I mean? His style of doing it feels like it's glorifying what these guys did.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Yeah, it does. Yeah, especially now that you mentioned it, what his style of movie, and me coming from the fact that, again, I didn't notice this was a Michael Bay movie until the credits.
Yeah.
On retrospect, now I'm like, oh yeah, they totally make sense. You know, describing it as very similar in some shots as like something like Bad Boys will be.
Yeah,
I definitely see it.
Yeah, and you know, when you see more of his, you'll start noticing that stuff. So
yeah,
that, ladies and gentlemen, is all. That's all I've been watching, which is a lot, but it's all I've been watching the last whatever. But
I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with you. Watch Pain again. I am.
And yeah, here we are waiting for Pulp Fiction.
I know. I know.
At this point, I feel like
it's not gonna hit the same though. It's the thing, will it?
I don't. I already said, you know, it's too much time has passed.
Yeah,
it's going to be very similar to the Office Space. You know what I mean? Because I saw Office Space way later than it came out. And in my head, I'm just going, what the hell is the big deal with this movie? Yeah, exactly. So, so it is what it is. But so as far as what I've been playing, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to say, first off, finished Neo. Finished, yeah. Put that shit to bed. Actually, we finished it in co-op with me and Chaos.
No, that's not full finishing. Never
the
mind.
To me, it is.
I'm just kidding.
As far as I'm concerned, the credits rolled.
You were like, I am done with this.
I was like, hey,
let's join forces and beat this up.
The funny thing about co-op is that you would think it's easier, but not always. Because when you play the game normally, you have checkpoints. So if you die and you already get to one of the shrines of the checkpoints, then you start from there. And when you open certain areas, you open up shortcuts, very similar to Dark Souls. You open up shortcuts, and now it's faster to get back to where you died. When you do co-op, there are no checkpoints. So if you die at the very last boss, you are doing that together all the way back to the beginning.
All over again.
So yeah, so there's no checkpoints. So that in itself means you have to make it
That
together.
sounds
And
like a recipe for some broken friendships.
I mean, we had fun though. We had a lot of fun though. It's a very good game. It's a very I think it is literally, having played a few Souls like and stuff like that, it is the one that probably stands out as not
Awesome.
only as one of the more successful Souls like, but also a game that isn't trying to be a Souls. It's doing its own
Hmm.
thing. It just has some similarities,
Right. Yeah.
and because of that, I think is why it's a good game. And yeah, man, this one I give this one a 4.0. I think it's a great game. I think it's enjoyable.
It
It's
didn't
it's
feel like it.
long, but it is. Say again.
No, I was gonna say it didn't feel like it was gonna be scoring that high around the last time we checked
True,
in.
yeah. A lot has happened since. But also, I mean, to be fair, I jumped in as co-op. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
it became way more fun, even though you run into those situations where you end up having to redo everything again. It's just the co-op. It still has dumb co-op shit. I don't know what is it with fucking Souls games that just why can't you get the co-op right? I don't understand why.
no, you need to draw a line in a circle
Yeah, just
here
gotta
and
do this
wait until
ridiculous
the
dance.
light
Yeah.
becomes dark, and then yeah,
Yeah,
it's always a
it's
fucking
so
ritual.
fucking weird, but it's not as bad as the actual Soul game when it comes to co-op. I mean, because the actual Soul game really doesn't make sense in many ways. Here you can jump into the story gates at any point. You can find each other pretty quickly. The only thing I really don't like is you have like a time limit.
Mhm.
So, like if you're in menu and you're not in actual mission, it's going to give you 200 seconds to select something or go through your menu, and upgrade your gear and shit like that. And it's just like, why is there a time limit? Well, I don't understand why there's a
Yeah,
time
why?
limit. Can I not just sit here? Are you? Is it because I'm on your server? You just want me to hurry up and move along? I don't understand. So that I don't understand. Honestly, if that wasn't there, it would actually be okay co-op. The only other thing there's certain missions, side
Mhm.
missions that are really just meant for one person. So it will never even show up on the list of
Oh,
co-op
okay.
missions. Yeah, which is fine because they're side missions. No, it's no big deal. But the main missions are all co-op, and they get way more like elaborate as you go on. Some of these
Yeah.
things run at that last area is like massive. You know what I mean? And I can only again, if you're playing on single player, you'll have the checkpoints to kind of go back to. But
Mhm.
for us, the very first time we made it to the very last, not the very last boss, second to last boss, and died, and again had to start all over again. And then the next 3 or 4 times, never even made it to the tower. So it was like, and then had to start all over again. It's like fuck. So actually, I posted on the group a gameplay of us. The last, it's like 30 minutes long. It's basically the whole last mission of us playing it together, and it's a lot of fun. But also, you look at it, you just go, wow, there are 4 bosses
Uh-huh.
and in different areas, and then you go to the tower, and now there's like 3 bosses in a row from there. Now the 4 bosses
Damn.
you fight in the main 4 area are repeat bosses from before. So I mean, which is
Oh,
typical with a lot of these games, but and then the you get to the tower, and it's about 3 new ones, and again back to back to back, and
and
it's like
when you're doing single player, you would have a proper checkpoint.
I would assume, because I saw shrines. So, and the whole deal is once you hit a shrine, my only thing is I would assume you would, because this is typical of every other mission. And if you took out 2 of the 4 bosses that from the main floor, that if you died and started a shrine, those 2 will still be gone. You still just need 2 more. You don't have to redo the 4. You know what I mean? But I can't attest to that because I didn't. We did it together, and we had to do it from the beginning the whole time
Yeah.
anyway. But so anyway, that's Neo. I think, and you know what, co-op may have a little bit to do with the score. I'll happily admit that. Um,
That's fair.
yeah,
It's part of gameplay.
it's part of my
Play whichever
experience.
way you
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Yeah, it's part of my experience. Um, so that's Neo. I downloaded and beat and completed Stray, which is a type. Yeah, Stray.
Hooray!
I enjoyed playing a cat for a good 5-6 hours, and I gotta say, this is a very pretty game, man. It was
Yeah.
way more engaging than I thought it was going to be, and especially because like I'm gonna be a fucking cat running around the fucking alleys. What do I give a shit about that, you know? There is more to it. There's a lot of puzzle solving. There's actual enemies you have to kind of run from. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's items that you can also get used to do things. It's just it is a very futuristic game. This is a future where life is gone. The only thing that are left are robots who, I
Mhm.
guess, during the time that people were around, were sort of, I don't want to say servants, but the ones who were basically doing everything for humans. You know what I mean? And some sort of whatever hit, and suddenly everybody's gone, and what's left is this city of robots. And there's also this weird plague type of thing that I guess is attributed to probably killing off the humans, and but the robots also live in fear of it, because they, now that all like biological mass or flesh and all that's not there anymore, it develop a craving for anything, so it'll just eat anything
Oh
including
wow.
metal. And so they now live in fear. And anyway, that's kind of the premise of what's going on, and you get trapped into the city, and you're just kind of finding your way out. And so that's basically the tale. And it's I gotta say, man, this is a surprising story. The cat is absolutely adorable, very
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah.
um it is, I mean, the city is well designed. There's a lot of environmental storytelling, because obviously it's just a cat, and the cat can meow, but they're not really having conversations.
No.
And so it's weird because there's a little bit of smarter cat, but then again, it's a future, so who knows? Maybe they evolved a little bit. But other than that, I just love the fact that the developers kind of really stuck to this vision, which was odd. I'm sure
Make it
but
feel like a cat.
make you feel like a cat in a very steampunk or cyberpunk world,
Yeah.
and kind of go from there. And I thought it was good, man. I thought it was really really good. Um, it was maybe one slight hitch of a bug, and it was just I could tell there was supposed to be a character sitting there. It was half of it was there, half of it wasn't there. But that was really it. Outside of that, thing ran flawlessly. Um, I love the robots, the NPC
Mhm.
robots, because they're way better. No offense, I know how you feel about Neo Automata and all that, but those little android robots were not as endearing as these robots were. uh,
Hey,
so
I, that's not a hill I'm willing to die in. So that's
he's like, "Yep,
totally
I'm
fair.
all right with that." Yeah. But overall, man, it's really a very well designed game, very indie like. So it is what
I
it is.
heard the cat is very fluid in the
Extremely fluid.
movement.
Um, I
Very
like
cat
the
like
choice
movement.
that they made to make jumping simpler. Basically, you move the camera, and as you move the camera, depending where the camera's at, you'll start
Mhm.
seeing little tiny X's as to where the cat can jump, and then you press the X,
Mhm.
and it jumps up there. No
Mm.
actual platforming involved. Which kind of makes sense, right? I mean, a cat is a cat. They're not gonna fucking stumble upon shit. Uh, they know how to fucking walk on a tiny little railing. You know what I mean? It shouldn't require you as the gamer to hold the controller
Balance him.
correctly. Yeah, it's like no, they fucking got this shit.
Any
So,
fall damage?
interesting. I'm trying to think if I even.
It's a joke question, bro. It's a cat.
I know, but I'm just saying there are high places. I don't know if I fell from a high place and got damaged, but I know he always land on his 4 feet, because that's always a
That's what they
fun
do.
thing. That's what they do. Yeah. But
Oh man,
so yeah, man, Stray is really good. I will give that one easily a 3.5.
nice.
I
Yeah, I want to play
was
that one.
engaged throughout. It's not very long, but it's not short either. It's not like a 2-3 hour game, but it's not very long. And I think that was wise on their part. I feel that the strength of this game, or one of the strengths, is that it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
You're there, you experience what you can experience, and you're out. It never has the moment of you're like, oh God, I just need to get through this. It's like none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything feels new and fresh as you get to it. And once you do, you've moved on to the next thing. There's some interesting gameplay mechanics that it can introduce along the way. So you're never actually just doing the same thing, which is also
Mm.
very welcomed as well. So yeah, so that's Stray. And let me see here. Oh, I just realized I closed my window. I'm gonna say. So that's Stray. Definitely recommend. From here, I went into a crazy lull, bro. I didn't know what the fuck to play, and so I started trying weird shit. I tried Rustler.
You bought a Nintendo Switch.
No, I tried Rustler. You may not know it by name, but basically that's the medieval GTA game, which is it takes place like in medieval times, and instead of police cars, it's these guys on horses running around with red
What
and
the
white
hell?
light, red and blue lights. It's like the old school GTA, the top down,
Hmm.
but you're in a medieval setting essentially. So um,
Okay.
it's it's an odd game. It's kind of just been on my wish list, and it dropped in price. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Let me get into that shit.
Mm,
And yeah, I
yeah.
see what they were going for. There's even hip hop music sometimes too. It didn't. It
Okay.
wasn't. It
Medieval hip
wasn't.
hop.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't fully fleshed out. Like first off, there wasn't
Mm.
voice acting. It's like, no, guys, you
Uh,
should have some. I mean, it's one thing if you're not gonna do voice acting, then don't do the
oh,
like. Oh, no one wants that shit. You know what I mean? It's like don't
I,
say nothing then.
I don't know. Sometimes I can see it as a stylized, like a particular style of. Yeah, I don't mind the way it's presented well. But yeah, I will always prefer
Well, then it's
proper voice
inconsistent because occasionally the cops, as they're chasing you, will say, "Hold, get over here." You're like, "Well, wait,
Oh, well,
can we
that makes
speak
no
or can we
sense.
not
Then
speak?" I
yeah,
don't understand.
no.
So, the main character looks like an adult bully. From the game Bully. He's bald and but he's a horse thief and same thing with
What
all
the hell this
GTA.
game is called again? I need to pull this up because
Rustler, Rustler.
wanna be
And
a rustler.
yeah, and you can get into fights, and the same thing you can do. You can jack somebody's horse. We could just throw them off the horse and whatever. Obviously, if you do that in front of a guard,
Oh,
he'll alert
world.
whatever else.
Was this like
Um,
a was this in like a deal or something like or free PSN that I missed or
no. This
what
it
the
was
heck?
on sale. It was a deal. It's on sale. Like I said, I
Sale?
got it because it was on sale, and
Like a top down GTA
yeah,
like
the
deal.
original before GTA
It,
3, they
it
were all look
doesn't
like
even
that. You know what I mean?
doesn't look bad like graphics wise. It looks
No, it doesn't
I
move
can
very
see the
great.
appeal.
The music is not there. So that's another
Oh,
problem to me. Like I don't
oh.
know if they're going with some sort of aesthetic, but occasionally when you beat a mission, you have that
Mm.
little hip hop jingle coming. Doom, yeah, and I'm like, so where is this music? The
Oh,
rest of it, if you're gonna
oh.
do it, might as well go all in. It's like I don't understand.
Oh, there's a lot of bards and loot players. Or like, why? What a missed opportunity!
Yeah, yeah. It
I
just
should be
feels
listening to Toss a Coin to the Witcher right here.
yeah. It just feels like you had the right idea, you knew what you were going for, but you
Wasn't
didn't
good.
follow through all the way.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe they ran out of money. That can happen too. It's like, hey, we need to launch now. We can, but
it's a shame.
so it's a shame. But I think I was paying like $10 for it. So it wasn't like a huge loss or anything like that. But then I went over to the Dark Pictures anthology, um, Little Hope.
Wow,
Yeah,
you were really lost.
I tell you, I was just looking for anything at this point. It's like I don't know what to go through. Um,
I don't know what to do with my life.
I don't know what to do with my life. Yeah. So I did the first one, Man of Medan, and it was enjoyable. I was like, oh, this is okay. It's not Until Dawn, but it's
Mm.
definitely. I enjoyed it for what it was. Little Hope was not good. It was extremely predictable. It's felt stilted in some parts where it's like
Oh,
you feel like you could tell when like you made a decision that
uh,
wasn't the main decision, so it felt like this adjustment had to be done. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess I picked the wrong one or whatever the case may be.
mm.
Um, and then the story in the end was just look, I'm not going to spoil anything here. You know what? No, I am going to spoil something here. So spoilers
Spoiler alert.
for Little Hope for the next 10 seconds here. It was all a fucking dream. I hate that shit. Okay, that is the worst. Okay,
Oh my god, that only worked great in one game only.
it
And you
doesn't
know
work
which?
great in anything.
Oh,
It's-
excuse me. Super Mario Brothers 2 begs to differ.
okay, sure. That you're right.
Mm.
All right, but that's also not a narrative-based game. But sure, we'll throw that. We'll throw a bone to that one. In a narrative-based game or a narrative in general, a movie, for instance, or a book,
Mm.
that shit. It was all a dream. I mean, that's the biggest joke of all time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Of storytelling. And really, that's what we've been doing this whole time. We've just been, it's not good. Not
No.
good. I heard
Mhm.
that the very next one, I can't remember the name though. I heard the very next one was actually pretty way better than the first two. So I'm having whenever it comes, the only reason I got this is because it
You're
was
willing to give it a chance.
well, because I like these. I like these narrative type games like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Choose your own adventure, whatever type of shit. Um, and these are actually very good looking. When it comes to graphic wise and stuff like that.
Really.
It's not. They're
Yeah,
not
I didn't know.
not for nothing for Telltale, but Telltale always had that really cell shaded, stuff, whatever.
Yeah,
This
they're
actually
artistic.
has a little bit more quality behind it. So that's why it's like, I kind of like this, kind of, and a little horror tales, it's like I can deal with that. So yeah, that's why I'm interested in it. The only reason I play this because it was included with the PlayStation Plus Premium package. So it's like, well,
Okay.
might as well make use of it. Yeah,
Okay. Now it makes sense.
yeah.
You
That one was
large
definitely that.
catalog of stuff that you can just grab and
Yeah, I do have one real quick before I go to the last game, which is not even going to be that big of a deal, but they just released on the extra Metro Exodus, and yes, that is downloaded,
Oh,
and I will be playing that very soon because I was
that's
like,
right.
oh
You
yeah,
did play it and enjoy the
the
forgot
first
what
two,
it was.
yeah, for,
Can't believe I haven't
2023.
these are PC game classics
Yeah.
that I should have been done for a long time ago and never played. I started and they just felt so European that I was like, I'm not ready for this. And I'm talking about feeling Eastern European. So I was like,
Yeah,
I am definitely not ready for this.
yeah. I that's yeah. I'm looking forward to it. So I heard that I was like, oh shit, they're actually it's coming up. I need well, obviously, I don't want to say I got duped, but I got sort of swindled into getting the premium package, and kind of looking for something to justify said purchase. And a few of these things, well, first off, Stray, and obviously it was included. Stray was included, and now
Yes, it
this, and I
was.
was like, oh, okay, all right, we're moving with some, we're including some stuff here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I can definitely deal with that. The last game I played, I am still playing and loving it.
Ooh.
Found the game that I was like, okay, yep, I'm going to be delving into this, and that
Oh.
is a little title called Hades,
Oh. Oh.
but on PlayStation
Yeah.
5 because yes, I had it on the
Oh,
Switch.
because we need the power of the. We need three cell shade. I mean,
We
three cell
do.
processors sandwiched together.
We do. Yeah, I actually own this already on the Switch. And that's the connection I was trying to make earlier where Switch still sitting there. I can pick it up anytime to play Hades, but no, I decided to spend $18 on the PlayStation 5 version
And it
because
plays so different.
honestly, it's been a while. So I mean, there are some updates, but I think they're just updates, not that it plays differently like that. But
I
God, this
think
is such a freaking
they're
good
called
game.
bug fixes. All right.
It could be. Well, no, I think menu. There's like some menu updates where I'm like, I don't remember this ever showing me this before. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Chaos actually was playing it, and I was shocked. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He told me it was good. I was like, he's loving it. So I'm sitting here
Yeah, I
watching
wouldn't
him.
be shocked of him playing. If anything, it's long overdue. This
It
sounds like right
is.
up his alley.
It is. So he was playing, and I'm watching him play, and I'm just like the itch. The itch started happening. It's like, fuck, I want to play this game, but I don't want to fucking pick up the Switch. So as he was playing, I downloaded it and jumped on, and that's what I've been actually playing for the last last 3 or 4 nights.
That's
Um,
completely fair
yeah,
because I mean, you really enjoyed that game. I like that game. I think that game's great. And yeah, I was just I thought you were gonna say something different.
I know, but I'm going in order of played. So, so that's literally the last thing I played. There's a couple of things I dipped into, which I won't really go into. I mean, I can mention them real quick. A game called Windbound, which felt like a little bit of Wind Waker, almost like, but it just didn't play as well.
Mm,
And it's an indie game, so it's like, oh, and of course, this was also on the service, so
yeah.
I was like, oh, it's on the service, so I'll give it. Now I can give it a shot for not for free, but without having to pay anything more.
Yeah.
And then this other game called Indivisible, which is an RPG. It just, I don't know, I just didn't really feel good the way it decided to do the turn based. It's not actually turn based; it's a little active time based almost.
Uh,
But
like
the way your squad is formatted, if the person's at the top, then you use a triangle to move, to attack.
oh,
And
that's
then
cool.
how you attack depends. If you go up triangle is one thing, down triangle is another. But you don't know what the moves are because there isn't a move set so I can look at and see what is that this does exactly. So you're kind of just winging it, and graphically it looked good. I mean, it was very what do you call that? Not cell shaded, dear Lord, hand drawn. It had a hand drawn look to it. It was very very pretty.
Yeah.
But I don't know, didn't really hold my attention. So I was like, oh, that one I did pay for, but I didn't pay a lot. That was on sale as well, probably $5 or some shit. And but yeah, those are the ones I touched within everything, and I just like, this is not
I'll
holding me.
be
But now Hades has me, and pretty
oh,
sure I'm
that's
gonna be
yeah.
sticking with it.
Yeah,
For
I'm sure you're gonna beat the game again and
Oh, I never beat it the first time. I made it to
oh
Hades, probably twice, and I don't know. At that point, I
there
just
you go.
kind of
Well,
said,
this is
"Yeah,
this is your moment because now
this
it's
is
a
the moment." Yeah,
PS5. You have a better controller. You have
agree.
better graphic,
Yep,
better
agree.
fidelity. This is it. This is it.
hundred
And
percent agree. Oh,
yeah,
I never scored fucking Last Hope. That's definitely fucking 2.0. So we're gonna give that one a
that's
2.0.
always super.
Um,
Yeah,
so
that's the
there's no
the
hope
Nagatology
for
one.
Last
Oh,
Hope.
excuse
So
me.
anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all that we have been doing. 2 hours and 11 minutes later.
Expect no less from the
Expect no
topic.
less. And we are back, guys. We're going to quickly go into. There's really not any news happening. The world of gaming is slow, but there is one piece
Oh,
that is very interesting. And since we're going to be speaking about movies, I wanted to get your take, sir, Mr. David Santos. Apparently, Regal
uh-huh.
is going to file for bankruptcy again.
Oh no! Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
They
Regal
did
Cinemas, yeah.
Regal Cinemas.
This is the world's second biggest theater chain filing for bankruptcy. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal. Basically, the London-based Cineworld is expected to file for bankruptcy in both UK and US, having amassed 4.8 billion in debt. There are over 9,000 screens, 751 locations worldwide, and so they were expected. They filed for bankruptcy before. Well, actually, first for number one is AMC Theaters. That's number one. They actually were also having deep issues, but thanks to the whole crazy meme stock that happened a while back, they got saved. you know,
Okay, they got game stunk.
they got
Okay.
against. Oh yeah. Um, Anyway, as far as Regal, the company was allegedly relying on blockbusters like Top Gun, The Batman, Maverick, Top Gun, and Thor: Love and Thunder to help with sales, but current numbers are extremely lower than anticipated. Uh, and there, at this point, there just aren't enough movies in the second half of 2022 to expect any type of turn. Despite a gradual recovery of demand since reopening back in 2021 April, recent admission levels are way below expectations. These lower levels of admissions are due to limited film slate that is anticipated to continue to November 2022. For the
I
record,
know what.
limited film slate has to do with a lot of shit coming directly to streaming services. A lot of the stuff's not coming directly to theater. HBO's still doing that, believe it or not. And anyway, that's supposed to expect it to basically hurt them even more. It did also file for bankruptcy back in 2020 at the very height of COVID. However, it was saved thanks to some loans from some creditors. But this time it looks
Some
like
investors, if
or
anything.
investors, sure, yeah. This time it looks like it's a done deal, bro. And I just wanted to get your thoughts. I mean, you and I, we love a good night out of the theaters, and we've
Yeah,
plenty
yeah.
of time
My
gone
wife's
to
a big
Regal.
fan of that. Specifically, going to the theater has never grown old. And you know what? For as much as I hate to admit it, because we all love the fact that when we unfortunately had the pandemic at its strongest, and things were closed, we couldn't go to the movie theaters, and suddenly here comes Savior HBO offering like
Mhm.
the movies that you would have expected to watch in the movie theater, right there at your fingertips. I remember I couldn't believe that I was watching Matrix 4.
I
It
know,
was like
I
in
know. At home,
the couch at
yeah,
home, just
yeah.
like that. It felt like robbery. um,
Too bad the movie wasn't all that. No, I'm just
Fine.
kidding.
Yeah, but that's something else. I'll enjoy
Topic for
it
another
what
day.
it was. Yes, we still need to have our hot topic on the Matrix 4 if we didn't have it already. Anyway, um, I I think bringing those movies, bringing the fact that it was acceptable to bring to release movies almost day one in some cases, or sometimes not even in day one, but not too much later, to streaming services,
Hmm.
hurt exactly like the naysayers were saying this is going to affect. And I think we even believe like, oh no, this is just for the time being. This is just a necessity. Nothing's gonna stop movie theaters once we'll go back. But it kind of indoctrinated people to expect those releases to be available in streaming services,
Yep.
and they realized once they couldn't go to the movie theaters that they didn't mind,
Yeah.
they didn't mind waiting. Uh and you couple that with the fact that we just haven't had that many super blockbuster movies. I mean, the ones that we've had, Top Gun, for example, they have done great.
They have done
Uh,
extremely well.
yeah,
Extremely well.
Top Gun was also not available on streaming services, as far as
No.
I know.
Purposefully. Yeah.
Purposely, yeah, exactly. But we haven't had that many of those. I mean, even the Marvel movies that are coming out, they're kind of falling flat,
Yeah.
with a few
Yeah.
exceptions. They're kind of
I think Thor: Love and Thunder is an example. Is like didn't hear big things critically. Didn't
hurting.
really haven't heard anything commercially as far as how much is made. It's definitely having to hit a billion because we would have heard that by now.
Yeah,
Not even close, probably. It's like you and I haven't seen it because honestly, it's
I'm no
coming to
hurt.
Disney Plus. Why?
Yeah, exactly,
What's the
exactly.
rush? Yeah,
And I think that mentality, like once people realize that is a possibility, and that you're not FOMOing on it
Mhm.
because it's okay to wait a little bit extra, um people are okay with not going immediately to the movie theaters. And yeah, I can see that affecting. There would have needed to be some sort of change in the economics, but what are you gonna do? Charge more for ticket so
I
that
mean,
less people go in?
yeah, I was gonna say at this point, for me, when we went to see, what's the last movie I went to see? We went to Top Gun. That was the
Yeah,
last
Top
movie.
Gun, yeah.
We went
Top
to
Gun with
Epic
you.
Theater, and dude, it was just to get in. It was for the two of us. It was like $30 something, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not complaining. I knew that going in.
Yeah, but then to eat, then you eat there, you get a hot dog and 2 hot dogs, $20.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And if you're having soda, it's $5. If you happen to have a cocktail or beer, you're at $12. You know what I mean? For
yeah,
each one, yeah.
exactly,
So, yeah.
exactly. So at some point, it almost becomes like this movie. This big movie theaters. I fear for them. Like, yeah, I feel like what's gonna happen. You know, maybe close down some of their expansions that they have.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can't charge more. I mean, you could, but it's just gonna end up alienating more
have to
people
do
from
more.
going.
Right, and that's the whole deal. You have to do more.
Yeah,
And
what
if
is
you're
the
gonna
next
charge more,
experience?
then what else am I getting?
Right.
With this particular, I mean, the reason I don't mind paying Epic is because I love those recliners, love the space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you're at such a level of comfort there while watching a
Almost
film.
as comfortable as being at home.
Exactly. I mean, true. You know what I mean. But at the same time, it's also out. You know, there's something to be said about going out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Having
No,
a night
true,
out.
true.
And
also
so
that big screen is gonna be like you can have a fucking projector. It's still not gonna compare.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to compare. As much as I love my sound system, not going to compare. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I think that would be a way of doing it. But what else do you do? You know, 4D. 4D is I don't know if you've seen a movie of 4D, but 4D is that thing where the seat moves and you get sprayed when something happens. You know, so that it goes along with the movie. It's like, do you really want that?
Not only do you want that, but how crazy expensive would that is to operate and maintain and all that? It's like, no, whatever option is, because it wasn't 3D either. 3D just didn't work. People did not. Turns out people don't give a fuck about 3D. So
well, there is 4D. That's the thing that's out there now. Adam swears by that shit. But then again, it's $25 per ticket. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I don't know about that. You know, so.
And it's cool for maybe for the occasion, like special,
like epic film,
film, yeah. But again, it's not the movies that are coming out. Not all of them are epic or will required people like paying, wanting to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, think of Tag. Let's do the movie Tag. What are you gonna do in 4D Tag? Is something gonna slap you? You know what I mean? Is that what's happening? Because that's gonna be very unenjoyable. You know, so it's like it works for certain things like the epics, but not so much for every film. And that's the whole deal. Like he would go see these Marvel films, for instance. He would go see in 4D, and it's like, oh, that sounds cool and all that, but again, $25 a ticket is it's not for me personally. I don't think the movie theaters are going to, I mean, obviously Regal's going to probably slowly but surely go away in some fashion. And but the multiplexes may also go, at some point, because the AMC was resurrected by a fucking meme stock.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen again, and doesn't seem like where things were leaning before are still going that direction. So chances are AMC may be facing similar situations. But I think smaller theaters, I love NZN Theater. I support that shit. I think at some point I probably will go into to purchase and become like a producer there. A producer, like a package that you pay for, just because I love everything they do. It's just one it's just one screen, and it's very nice. Those things are never going to go away. But the big
experience of the NCN, and it's funny that we're soon going to be jumping into a very a very particular topic, and I feel like the NCN experience lends itself towards the film aspects more than the movie aspects.
Yeah, but they have other stuff too. I saw Major League there, which was a screwball comedy from the 80s. You know what I mean? So they can have fun with it as well. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
hear what
yeah.
you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
I'm thinking maybe that's the experience. That's where they should lean out a little bit. That where movie theaters are less about the multiplexes where you cram a bunch of people in, and you make it more about the experience of
Mhm.
like, well, maybe you order, dinner when you're watching the movie, and it's not a lot of people. You're charging a lot for, you know, for the beverages and what they're eating. Um, and make it something that it is potentially that is different enough from the typical, oh, this is a multiplex where it needs to be full in order to get its return. Otherwise it's just gonna go bankrupt, because otherwise we're just gonna see a bunch of closing of those
Yeah.
and consolidations and
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, there's a future where a lot of these films just become available to us via, via these services, and
that could be problematic.
it
That
could
that's
be.
what I'm saying. That
It
that
could be.
that that could just that will hurt if Disney suddenly decides to, well, turns out we make a lot more money off of the streaming this that providing it on the movie theater. So there's little incentives to make this.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah.
So
But yeah, interesting stuff. So I personally will keep my eye on that because I was always curious. I remember I think we talked about it during the pandemic because it was such a big. It was such a. I think it was just another news piece, and it was just like,
yeah,
oh,
no,
what is
at that
that?
point
What's
we
that?
were actually very pro this streaming services providing day one movie releases. We were
Mhm.
skeptical that it was going to affect. That's why I'm saying, like, right now, I feel like I'm eating some crow because
Yeah,
it turns
yeah,
out that it actually did have the
it did.
impact
Yeah.
that people were saying it was
The
going
fact
to have.
that yeah that they said it was probably going to happen. Yeah, and it's a shame. It's a
We're
shame,
feeling
but
it. Yeah, we might not be ready to lose on. I mean, not that I think they're just gonna completely go away, but it some sort of shift will have to happen. I don't know. Bring
yeah.
back drivings. There you go. That's my face.
I mean, I was always a fan of fucking driving, bro.
I never
Always a fan with
experienced
driving.
that.
No.
Nope. There was in Puerto Rico. There used to be one particular when I was little. That was still in operation, but that was like the last of its kind, and it quickly went away. Like I didn't have the opportunity to experience it.
Sir, looking it up right now to make sure if they're open or not. Let's see
There's
here.
one over here.
There is one, sir.
Wow.
Let's see. And this is, let's see, what's now playing? Just to make sure. Yes. That's not the good movies, but that's okay. It doesn't matter.
Watching
Uh,
movies in the car.
Silver Moon Theater, sir. This is a theater. This is in Lakeland. I was used to live in Lakeland, and they had one. We went there a few times. And I was like, oh my
Really?
god, I haven't seen a drive-in forever. Fucking Lakeland, backwards ass town. But anyway, um, basically, yeah, man. You purchased. Let me see. You purchased car. I just see you could still do this here. Silver Moon. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let me see what the tickets are. Because it's by car.
What are you?
Well, they got some older stuff. So upcoming, let me see what they have passed. Super Pets, nope, they had it, but they don't have it anymore. Let's see, Jurassic World Dominion, which I heard is no good, so no one should see that.
No.
But upcoming, they have Beast. I don't know what that is. Rocky
Um,
Horror Picture Show, dear lord, and a bunch of Halloween movies. Oh, okay, well that's kind of
wow.
cool. Anyway, it's there, sir. I'll be happy. Of course, we're talking about an hour and a half drive just to watch a movie at
To
night.
watch a movie
Yeah,
in the inside the car. Yes.
inside
When
the
people just
vehicle. Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
I'll just whip on my iPad.
Yeah, exactly.
Next
Is it
time.
really that worth it?
Yeah, it sounded like a great idea from like back
It's
in
an
the
experience
70s.
though,
So
because you go, you get your popcorn, you come back. I think drive-ins were all the rage back, way back in the days because it was just, honestly, let's be real, people are just doing that just to have a place to go, make
Yeah.
out a little bit. There's a movie playing, but you're not really watching the shit. You know what I
No.
mean? So that's what that was. That was all that was for. But
To this day, I still don't know what Will Smith's Wild West movie was about, because that was my only time that I recall ever making out a movie theater like throughout the whole movie. It's like I still
For-
don't know what that was about.
for me, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was a movie with George Clooney. I can't remember what it was.
There you go.
But
It was a
I know he
movie
was in
with
it.
George
It was
Clooney.
George Clooney, and it was like, yep, no clue what was happening in it because Lord knows I wasn't there for that. That's for sure.
No.
But anyway,
I heard
good
that
times.
I didn't miss enough.
No, you did not. Wild Wild West was definitely not a, not a winner, if you will.
Not a
Not a
winner,
winner. Not a
no.
winner. All right, guys. Well, with that, let's get into, since we're already in the wonderful topic of movies, let's get into our hot topic of the week, which, of course,
Hot topic.
is film versus movie. So, to kind of give some background, I feel like I need to start off to kind of not explain, but just kind of give the parameters of what we mean here,
Yes,
or what I mean here, I guess, is really because it's maybe more on my topic than anything else. But so when it comes, so what's the difference between, even my wife asked, what is the difference between the two? And I was like, well, in general, and honestly, this is more opinion based than anything else, but in general, when you look at a film, it is it's more based on, it wants to give you something more than the movie. It's focused on, like I mentioned, light, sound, movement, the aesthetics. It literally, the film wants to try to change you. You know what I mean? Its purpose is one of its purposes is that, on top of presenting the plot or narrative that it's trying to present you, just on top of that. While a movie, on the other hand, is generally a commercialized product, made for mass audiences. Generally, purpose is profit. It's more concerned about, with plot and easy answers and giving the audience what they want. It essentially is what a movie is. And so neither, for the record, neither are bad. And I think I said that in the postings, and neither are, one is not better than the other, but it's really more about what makes them different and what makes it something that I want to see and you want to see, and kind of go from there. So I have some examples, and I'm sure I've brought these up a couple times, but just a couple of examples. I'll start with the first one. I won't go too far in it, but it's one of your favorites, sir. And that, of course, is No Country for Old Men.
Oh, damn. I'm talking about that Christmas Carol classic.
This is so. And here's what I mean about essentially the multiple meanings behind the film. Starting with just the topic or the plot itself. A guy stumbles upon, as he's hunting, he stumbles upon a crime scene in the middle of a Texas desert, and it turns out it was a drug buy or whatever gone wrong. He locates a case full of money. This money, of course, belongs to someone. Suddenly, someone comes into town searching for it, and hilarity and the and at that point, at that point, you go into the topic of him trying to survive, keeping the money while getting away from the one coming to kill him to take the money back. Also, in between, and I think that's what it gets lost in the film a lot, is the sheriff who starts off by narrating the movie, but he's the one kind of almost outside looking in between the thing, but trying to save one guy and trying to protect him from the other guy, and so that's an overarching whatever.
That's Tommy Lee Jones playing the
Tommy Lee Jones as the sheriff. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Acting here is excellent. Everything.
Yes.
Everything's fucking excellent in this film.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt on the acting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
on this movie is fucking phenomenal.
but it's a perfect example of, again, that's your plot point. So if you watch the
Mm,
film, pretty much that's what you're going to get. Um, but it's everything around it. It's the way it tells you information about the character without telling you, like verbalizing, hey, this guy is, he used to be in the military. You know what I'm saying? It's the
mm.
little things that you just go, man, he's figuring this out. I wonder why he knows this. You know what I mean? But you just kind of walk along with him. Um, those
Is
are the
it
type
trying
of
to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, so those are the type of things that I think separate a movie from a film, where it's like the film doesn't hold your hand to tell you what's going on. It trusts you to say, here are the pieces. You can deduce what's going on here without us having to verbalize in some sort of exposition. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And I think that's what I love about this particular film. So much is said without being said. Um, the main villain, which is Sugar. I can't remember his name.
right.
Hold on, let me get his name. Anton
Yeah.
Chigurh. Yeah. The main villain is absolutely terrifying, bro. But at the same
Mm,
time, he almost has a purpose. He almost has almost a fairness to himself. He's almost like Two Face. He even does the coin flips at some point where it's like, whoa,
mhm.
oh shit, this is he's leaving it up to chance.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not doing this, chances or whatever the case may be. So, is just an excellent. I don't know. It's just there was just
I'm
something about him.
I'm glad that
But
you opened with this particular movie because it definitely feels like it's a perfect way to make the distinction. Um, you in your description, you were mentioning, or I understood it as description of a film. It's trying to give you a message basically.
yeah,
Um, and I will add to that that it's it tries to it definitely wants you to leave the experience with some thoughts.
mhm.
You know, it wants to keep you thinking about, well, whatever the case might be, maybe how to finish the fucking thing, like in this case. but but it might be of the of the ruthlessness,
Mhm.
the mindset of this killer, of this psychopath, basically. And I get that, and I can appreciate. I can appreciate that in films in general. Um, my problem with some of this tend to be more when their focus, or the focus that I perceive,
Mhm.
because maybe I'm not getting the message, is on trying to become a work of art. And I'll be the first one to say I don't get art. I never gotten art. I can't look at a painting, for example, and determine, like, oh yeah, I mean, I can determine the artistic value of it, in the sense of, this is special because the person that painted it wanted to put some, their thoughts in this.
Mhm.
This is the best
They were
way that
going
they
through
could
something at the time, and that influenced how this
influence.
yeah.
Exactly, but not in the sense of, well, this piece cost $1 billion because it was by the famous whoever. It's like, never understood that aspect of it, never cared for it. I always thought that it was all a scam. But that's not to say all art is a scam, and that's not to say that all films are also a fucking waste of time, um because they're not. In the sense of this movie in particular, uh the acting was phenomenal. Like, I could recognize the pieces of it.
Hmm.
Fucking 10 out of 10 on that aspect. That villain was fucking creepy.
It was just, and he was designed to look odd. You know, his
Oh, yes.
hairstyle, his
Unsettling.
clothing, and it's
He
like,
was
what
certainly us.
is it?
He was certainly very unsettling. And I love when movies do that. I love when games do that. One of my
Mm.
favorite villains of a game is it's of a game that is very inconsequential and not a much value of it. Far Cry 3. It has Voss. What
Oh,
fucking
Voss, yeah,
Voss
yeah.
is
Mhm.
so freaking creepy that to this day makes me think about it every time I portray. I want to think about a good villain. So the villain here was phenomenal. There's absolutely no doubt on it. You know, it was, and this is the part where I get concerned. It was on the deliver the part that I'm interested in is tell me a full story. Give me the big, tell me why
The
the
resolution.
actions of
I'm gonna
this
say,
person's
yeah,
matter at the end. Exactly.
the resolution.
Give me give me a resolution. Don't leave me hanging. I don't want to make up my own resolution. I never like when movies do that. I never like when books do that. No piece of art that is incomplete, that I'm supposed to interpret the way, because I feel like at that point I am doing the job for them. And it feels like in the case of this movie, it's everything else is so great that you left me hanging at the end with something that suddenly became almost nonsensical. And you just left it there. Or maybe if you told me the story, I didn't get it, or I didn't care for it, because it was
could be a
going
bit of
so
both. Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
So sometimes I feel like there are films that are epitome of phenomenalness that I fucking love. I loved Arrival.
Oh, yes.
I absolutely love Arrival because it was a movie that I didn't grasp the first time that I watched it, and then the second time that I rewatched it and I saw it, and it clicked on me, and it almost broke my the pre-notions that I have with this type, with this types of movies, of films in general. It was very, it was, there was some, there was a mention, but see, at the same time, I found the ending of that,
Yeah.
and it told me a story that I thought it was phenomenal, and that's why that's why I liked it. So
I would definitely, yeah. I mean, I will go to bat for Arrival. It's one of my favorite films ever.
yes,
Um, it's it is, yes, it is definitely, and you have, I guess you have your complete 3 act structure is what the film
yes,
generally has. It still does leave some stuff for interpretation, but I think the interpretation is clear in many ways, but can be viewed in
mm,
other ways. Obviously, we're not going to spoil anything here, but yeah, I see what you mean. It has a definitive conclusion, but I feel like the overall thing still had sort of a circle, kind of like the language that they were doing. So it's like
yeah,
it can be viewed multiple ways. So, but yeah, I mean, I can see how I can definitely agree with that one. That's an awesome pick. It definitely. I mean, if you just put all the messaging and all the additional stuff aside, you still have a very interesting sci-fi film. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's almost why I almost want to, even though it almost, since we're, and by the way, I don't, I'm not saying that movies cannot be films and vice versa. Obviously, there's
Oh
gonna
yeah, of
be
course.
this is, there are movies here that are very well can be described as films and vice versa, like the example, like Arrival that I just mentioned, because of this nature that yes, it is very artistic. That movie is beautiful. It's trying to, you know, deliver a message, but at the same time, he has that three part structure that you mentioned,
Mhm.
where he has a resolution and all that, and I feel like that is those are the movies that I tend to lean more towards, um, rather than just the open ended ones. And
Yeah.
the open ended ones, I think you had another one that is one of your favorite movies.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
uh,
Oh yeah.
what's it called? Fucking. Oh shit! The name is escaping me right now. Mystery. It was kind of like a mystery movie. Um,
Oh.
yeah. No, it's not Lost in Translation. I'm not ready to ring. I'm not ready to ring that one yet.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
um. Oh, the people that walk. What was it? Help
The people
me.
that walk. The people that
The
walk.
people, the zombie, the thing that walked that was pursuing that it follows.
Oh,
It
it follows.
follows.
It follows.
It follows.
It follows.
It
Yes. Yes.
follows. Um, that was that was a film that I that I I didn't care for particularly much, because I felt like it almost left me hanging a little bit. However, in retrospect, I can see that that's not a bad movie. I've made the joke of it, of why you
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
me
Of
through
course.
it
Of
and
course.
that.
Yeah. No.
But in reality, know I know better. I realize that's not a bad movie. It didn't click with me again. I'm looking for that. Just close it out. Just close out the circle. Is give me closure. Yeah, there you go. Closure.
Closure.
that's
Yeah.
that's the term. Give me closure on it. And that movie left it kind of open ended, and that was fine, because that was the way they decided to do. Some great movies have done that. Fucking
Mhm.
Blade Runner
2049. Yeah.
2049. Thank you. It did that.
I would argue that the original Blade Runner did that.
I
You know
just
what I
don't
mean?
remember the original one, but you guys, I'm gonna trust you on that.
Okay. So
I
yeah,
mean,
I see what you're saying, and sometimes for me, I guess for me, it's just one of those things where I don't need a happy ending, or I don't want to say happy ending,
oh
because it doesn't always have to be a happy ending, but I don't need
no,
to have a to me the
you don't need to
story.
have an ending. Say
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah, I guess I would say I don't need to have it tied up in a bow. It could be a happy bow or sad bow, or whatever. I don't have to have it tied up in a bow, particularly because life moves on. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things like, well, there are, like with 2049, for instance, it was like, well, wait a minute, the big bad is still out there. It's like, yeah, what made us think that this one cop who was also a replicant would subtly fix everything? It's like he was a small fish in a big pond, just
but
dealing with the
then,
matter he needed to deal with.
but then, what was the point of going through it? If
It was the
you didn't have the resolution, then what was the point of telling the story?
well, the
It's
point
almost
for
like if I told you a half joke and I didn't and never delivered the punchline.
the point was, to me, just using that as an example, 2040, Blade Runner 2049. The
Mm.
point was for fans of Blade Runner to get the answer to a question everyone wanted. Who was Deckard? Was he a replicant? What happened to him? What happened to everything else? And on top of that, the main story of the film, which was to connect the child of what apparently is two replicants back to their parent, I guess, in this case, which is what ends up obviously happening in the end. I guess slight spoilers here, but I haven't said who
Oh, we
they
kind
were.
of have to be loose with spoilers because
Yeah,
of the type of
yeah,
topic it
exactly.
is.
So,
So
but in
just be
essence,
mindful of
that's
that.
what ends. So that is the through line. Like, so going back to No Country for Old Men, the story is supposed to be viewed from the eyes of Tommy Lee Jones. It's not the character who finds the money. It's obviously not the villain. They are just pieces that he is viewing, and we're viewing it with him, through it. And so when you get to the end, where what you feel is it didn't, it wasn't, how to say, he wasn't, it was taken away from us, the I guess the engagement that we were looking for, because that's exactly what he felt. The sheriff, it's like he was trying desperately to keep this from happening. It still ended up happening, and then he realized how just insane the world was, and then he ends up retiring. It's one of those things like, wow, that was just a depressing end. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, that was the point of the story they were trying to give. You know what I mean? So
I think a movie, a movie will never get away with doing something like that. A film
movie?
would.
Oh, movie. Yeah, no, a movie. Yes, I was using yes.
Yeah. A film would. A film could get away with that, with making you interpret that, that ending, if you will. And a move, but a typical movie, like I don't know, Fifth Element. That's it. Let's bring the Fifth
good
Element.
one. All right. Yeah, I like it.
And because it's the quintessential, just tell me a story. I don't care how fantastic or how believable it is. Just tell me a story, entertain me.
Have fun with it. Yeah.
Have fun with it. Exactly. So you got a movie like the Fifth Element, and suddenly
Great
you wouldn't.
movie.
Phenomenal. You wouldn't necessarily cut it in. I'm trying to think now of a part where we can cut it and make it feel like a film.
No, you can't. Because it's not designed. It's literally that one is literally a 3-act structure. You have the fifth element, which is the ultimate being. They need this ultimate being in order to stop the darkness that's coming, and everything comes to the end, and they win. They do stop the darkness. You know what I mean? And it's like that's your 3 acts. You know what I mean? It's like you there's no way of, when the film's already structured that way, it's literally structured. Think of it as a building built on 4 stilts, and it's like, okay, well, can we adjust this to make it 3 stilts? No, it's meant to be on 4 stilts. You can't really adjust it at that point, unless you build a house that's pyramid like. Then maybe you can do 3 stilts. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it depends on where you're already designing your story to go. So there isn't a way of doing this. I know what you're saying, but yeah, that's a perfect example of a 3-act structure.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like always fantastical or anything like that. It could be like whatever type. You could bring. I mean, you mentioned when you watch, which I haven't watched, Marry Me, for example, or fucking Sweet Home Alabama. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking. I was going to throw out there Pretty Woman. Like, yeah, you go.
Oh, Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you got you got that very like, you could tell, and it's almost to his detriment sometimes, because you already know at what part is that you should expect shit to start going wrong, because he needs to, in order to be raised up, or maybe not raised, because it doesn't have to have a happy ending. It could be as detrimental as or sad or whatever. It depends on the movie. I don't particularly lean toward watching sad movies, but I like it when it is unexpected. But if you tell me that the movie is going to be a sad movie, then that I already crucified it. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah. You're ready to put it up there.
Yeah. So I get that could become tiresome. Maybe tiresome is not the best word, but expected. Like, it's difficult to subvert the expectations. Although there have been movies that have been excellent for subverting those expectations. And in that way, I feel like, yes, movies kind of suffer of the fact that it needs to be that 3 parts, structures. Whether film, you have the liberty of just doing whatever you want to do with it, but by nature, you better like what they decide to do, because if you're not a person like me that doesn't like to, leave it to the imagination.
Yeah.
they could become frustrating, and not all of them are like that. We not too long ago we watched a movie that we both enjoyed a whole lot, and it was definitely a film's film, and that film was Ladybug.
Lady Bird, yes.
Ladybird, yes, Ladybird.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ladybird was. I mean that I really like that. That movie, and when I don't sit down and rewatch movies because I don't do that in general. It's nothing against the particular movie or anything like that, but I would like to have that experience again because I enjoyed it quite a bit, and that is a film. Just
Yeah, yeah. It's a coming of age tale of of a young girl. I'm trying to remember but she comes from a certain kind of family, and they have certain expectations, and yeah, it's and to be fair, that movie doesn't have a definitive ending either. You
No.
you have a good stopping point, if you will, or a good come to
Yes.
terms moment, but
Yeah.
it's still left with some question mark because it is what it is at that
Yeah,
point.
it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be that. And you'll be surprised that I enjoyed it. I had no problem with that because even though it didn't have a definitive like a tying it all in a bow, it did have a decent stopping point. And I think or I was able to identify. Maybe No Country for Old Men has that also. I just couldn't see it.
It's one of the that's what I'm saying. It's one of the. It's like I still say it's very much like Arrival. Like you came to Arrival with certain expectations, and since you happened to watch it again for whatever reason, now that you already knew what was going on, the expectation of where the story was going to go was out of the window. Now you're just watching it for what it is, and then suddenly you had it. It clicked. It's like, okay, I see what it's trying to do here. You know what I mean? It's because it's not trying to give me the normal story. And that's why I say with No Country for Old Men, I've watched it many a times, and each time I watch it, I get something else out of it because it's there are layers. You know what I mean? It's giving you these layers, and the more you see, and the more you see it, and you kind of the first time you watch a film is you're watching it to see what is the story you're telling me. All right. Once you've done that, the reason to watch a film again is really, okay, what else are you trying to tell me? On top of this story, what else are you trying to tell me? And that's when, a film will come in to sort of give you some more. While a movie, let's go with Pain and Gain, if you will, saying it's giving you the story. There's nothing else behind it. You know what I mean? And that's a perfect example of a movie because there really is anything. Because it's also telling you real life. This is a real story. This is all we're trying to tell you. We're doing it very not fantastic. Well, we're doing it in a very Michael Bay way.
Liberties, obviously, but
I'm sure we're doing it in a very Michael Bay way. But here's the story. Nothing really else beyond that. Just really the shock and awe of, hey, this actually happened. You know what I mean? And so again, nothing wrong with that. And it delivered what it wanted to deliver, but upon multiple viewings, you're going to get, diminishing returns because there really isn't anything behind that. Just to tell you that one story and shock and awe you that one time. You remember when you were crazy about it? It's like, oh yeah, that's it. But when you go to see it again, it's like, oh yeah, this is what we had. With a film, I feel you have this other layers, and once you get past the initial story, you can start to see those things potentially. You know what I mean? If you're wanting to, right? Because if you're not a accepting of it, if you're being forced to watch it again, for instance, you're probably not going to fucking care. You know what I mean? It depends on the situation.
You have
but you openly went to Arrival again, and I think it's because of that. Because it also had more to say other than just the tale that it was telling, the sci-fi tale it was telling, which is I think why you may have come around on it.
The thing with Arrival with me, it was more of to me, honestly, it was more the language barrier. First time I saw that movie, it was in the movie theater, no subtitles. So
right.
Very complicated things were being explained and not grasping a lot of it might have actually had that the impact. And the second time I watched it was full subtitles. I was able to understand what was going on, and also it helped the fact that it's a second time, it's a second viewing, and yeah, and I think that's what actually made it clicked a little bit more. Movies like No Country for Old Men, the subject matter is not easily digestible.
True.
To me, so it's not something like
for anybody.
Something that will
just in general, yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that I particularly lean towards, like wanting to check again just to see, and who knows, maybe that should be the experiment, right? I remember that you wanted to make the experiment of making me watch it, and I watched it, and I give you my opinion. But
the experiment was, hey, this movie, before you watch it, I'm going to tell you right now, this movie is not going to have an ending that you like. Now that you know that, watch it and see how you feel. And it was the same.
Exactly. The hypothesis exactly. The conclusion was that yes.
The conclusion was there's no
now upping the ante should be, would a rewatch make a difference? And maybe I should. It'll be an interesting thing to explore. And see. I'm almost afraid that I might have tainted the result just because of the fact that I already feel so prejudiced towards it, because I not only I know, it's not that you told me it doesn't have anything, it's now that I experienced the fact that it doesn't have a fucking ending. That doesn't
I went through the trauma of not having anything.
So I'm not sure how positive the outcome will be, but I'll be willing to, for science, give it a go.
For science, I love it.
Just to see. But if anything, I've been also surprised with movies that I have found myself enjoying where I totally shouldn't, just because of the type of movie. It's not your typical, story with complete endings or stuff like that. Of course, because it happens so rare now, no one, not a single one can come to mind. I'm trying very hard to think about one that I watched that I would have expected. I really like this movie, and I want to see it again. Mainly because I don't remember much of it, unfortunately. But it's not the type of movie that you would have expected me to really like. Whiplash.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
That is not your typical Santos movie to watch, but I fucking love that. That I thought the acting was phenomenal on it. I thought that obviously soundtrack is. I mean, I own that shit because it's amazing.
Nice.
And yeah, no, it's overall it's a great film. Even though, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't necessarily. I mean, I think it does have a good stopping point, right? It's not, if not a.
It does. I mean, it's a good stopping point because thematically, by the time you get to that point in the film, it's like, oh, this is amazing, and it ends on a high note. Essentially, is what it ends up doing.
Yes.
So now in multiple viewings, you may come to realize that maybe that wasn't such a high note, but that's what it's trying to. I think for the most part, that's what it's trying to deliver. But yeah, I think it does have a definitive ending. Still, obviously, doesn't answer questions as to what occurs after. You know what I mean? Again,
right.
that's usually the ending that I feel like most people are like, okay, well, what happens from here? So I know we're ending, we're going to go to credits, but can you give me a little something so I know I can put this story to bed, if you will? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that because, again, it ends on that particular high note, and you just kind of take it from there. It's either they got along or they didn't get along. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's just a working relationship. Who knows? But yeah. So that's a good one. That's definitely I would definitely qualify that as a film, but also a movie. You know what I mean? Because in the end, it's pretty direct in what it's trying to tell you. It's not. There are, I would say, some layers, but not necessarily. Like, you don't need to watch it again to enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's like, obviously you watched it the first time and you enjoyed it. So yeah, no, I can definitely agree with
Yeah.
that one. That's a great choice. Yeah.
And just like movies like that, like I feel like the opposite could also be used, can also be made into a, this movie had it had a story, it had all the way to an ending and all of that, but it still makes you interpret things and think beyond the closed structure of the the three structure part that it had.
Mhm.
A movie like a movie like No Way Out is a perfect example. Oh, or even better,
No Way Out. Which one is that?
No Way Out. Sorry, no Way Out. Get Out is the movie that I'm trying
Oh,
to.
Get Out. Get Out.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
Okay. Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, No Way Out is the game. We haven't tried
Yeah,
that.
I was
We don't
like,
know the story on that one. Even though I think there is a movie called No Way Out, but that's something neither here and there, and I'm sure I haven't watched it. But no, I was thinking actually better example. Sorry to Bother You.
oh,
That's
a
the
film,
film.
bro.
That is a film's film.
Yeah, that is
It's a
and
film.
honestly,
Film.
I am so shocked that you actually enjoy to this date.
Dude.
I would have assumed you would have been right there with Judy, bro. Like, fuck
No,
this
yes,
film.
my wife was not keen on that movie. She did not like. Therefore, as much as she enjoys watching movies and films in general, but I think she's a movie guy for the most part. She also did not enjoy No Country for Old Men either, and I
Fair
can't blame
enough.
her. Can't
Again,
blame
that
her
was
there.
an experiment. I didn't realize you were
Oh,
going
I
to
know.
drag the
Yeah,
misses into it.
that's true.
So-
Yeah, I know. I kind of wanted to see the reaction there to make sure that I need to have a comparative.
Fair enough.
But Sorry to Bother You was a great film,
Yeah.
and it feel like that one had. I mean, that it had an end, and oh boy, did it went when it went crazy, but even with that structure, it still kept me thinking. It still made me think of the message. Or it was just like you were describing, basically films to be, and that's the reason why I was saying, like, it's not one or the other. It's definitely a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
You can definitely have aspects of both, and the aspects of both could be as equally ingrained. I might not have all the perfect examples because I don't watch that many films or movies in general, but I did mention Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah.
And,
Another one, very similar themes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely that was another one where, man, did it had an awesome story to tell with a crazy, with a crazy reveal and all that. But it is so much more than just that. It is just so much more than just the entertainment. I tend to enjoy what's the movie? Get Out.
Movies were. Oh, you talking about
Jordan Peele's movies
Peele,
in
yeah.
general. Yeah.
Mhm.
That though I tend to, and I learned that with because you're the one that introduced me to these movies.
Yeah, and his last one, as much as what was it called? My God, Us. And as much as I
yes.
didn't enjoy it as much as Get Out, it was still very different. It also
Mhm.
had a underlying layers and stuff like that, and it was also a very good film. But yeah, when it comes to his films, I'm just like, I'm ready to go see him regardless. Whatever it is, like, okay, it's probably going to be something. It's going to be something original. It's going to be something deep, but also entertaining along the way.
That's the
something you
thing.
can say, yeah.
That's sometimes I'm not in the mood for deep, and sometimes I just want to like shut my brain down and accept a fucking Marvel movie, and that's happened. I've gone to the movies. I've gone to the theater to watch a dumb Marvel movie. I mean, the other day I freaking watched the Doctor Strange one. I mean, I do like the character of Doctor Strange, so I knew I was gonna want to watch the second
Yeah.
one there, regardless of the outcome. But and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was, for what it was with that qualification.
With that qualification, yeah.
Yes. And sometimes I can't, and it has happened. My wife and I will sit down and she'll say, "Oh, let's watch this movie," and I'll see what the little bit that talks about what it is from, and it feels heavy enough to where like I'm some like I don't have a I like what I do and whatever, but it sometimes it could be emotionally draining, and
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes after I'm done, I'm not ready to continue spending the emotion on something that I'm supposed to be relaxed with. And I will change it for something dumb. I will say like I don't remember what was the name of the movie that she wanted to watch, but and I don't have the system that you have. That you and your wife have. I should implement it, but then again, I don't watch movies that much anyway. So, where she picks the movie and then you pick the movie, and then
Yeah. Yeah. We have our own
in my
separate list
case,
going.
like I gotta hand it to my wife. Sometimes she'll just watch something just so that she can, just so that I could be there to watch it with her. Regardless if she has watched it sometimes even, and I try not to take advantage of that. But sometimes, like my mind is not ready to see something heavy, so I'll just
Mhm.
put fucking bodyguard's wife, or something like very
Please tell
very
me you haven't
dumb. I
seen
know it's
that. Yeah.
silly, but I just don't. I just don't want to think too deeply, or I don't want to be in that stress. While
Mhm.
some other times I fucking crave it, like like that time that I wanted to watch. I mean, that time that we watched Hereditary. We just decided to watch Hereditary.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
We heard it was a great horror film, and we heard that it was pushing the lines on certain stuff, and
yeah, yeah.
and we found out the hard way that they were
And
right.
find out, and now we're
You
still
know?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have and dude, I fucking loved Uncut Gems
Oh,
so
hell yeah. Oh,
much.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's another great
So
one.
much. I enjoy that film movie. I don't even know what to
That's
describe
definitely,
this
yeah,
thing.
that's definitely because it's one of those things where it looks like it's a movie, right? It
Uh-huh.
plays, the camera movement. It's just like it looks like but it's like it's playing with it to make it look gritty. It's made that
Yeah.
really handheld camera look. You know what I mean? It's like someone's in the jewelry shop actually filming this without them knowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost that look that it has. Like, but that's an aesthetic. That's
Mhm.
purposely being done. And also everything feels fast paced. Everything feels like, oh, we're on the move. We got to do this. We got
Everything.
to sell this. We got to move over here. I got to do this. If I don't do this, I'm gonna lose money here. This guy's gonna come get me. This constant pace where
That is
it takes place in like the city, which always has that fast paced motion. So all of that is
yes.
that's what I'm saying. That's what makes to me a film where you put all those things like it wants to keep you on edge the whole time,
Yeah.
not just with the story, but it plays with the camera, that plays where things are going on and the way things are moving, and all that feels frantic. So it adds to the frantic nature of you just sitting there
Yes.
watching this stress for him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
You feel
yeah,
stressed yourself. Like
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
even though I was on pins and needles basically
Yep, yep.
throughout the whole
Which is what he
fucking
wants.
thing.
The creator wants. That's what they want, and
Yes.
and it's for a reason, right? It's working against the clock, working against what you
Yes.
need to do, and when done right, you always will feel that way throughout the entire film. There's several movies that have done that. Running Scared is one of my
Oh, I
guilty pleasures, where this is with oh God, I'm gonna forget his name. Let me see. Fast and Furious. What's the main dude from Fast and Furious? Fast
Vin
and
Diesel.
no, el que se murió, the one who passed away.
Oh,
Um,
oh man.
oh gosh, Paul Walker.
Oh, Walker. Yeah.
So Paul Walker was in this. It's this weird tale where the neighbors, somebody's shooting a gun there, and then suddenly it leads to this crazy night. You know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
like the whole deal is the gun being used in this shooting was a gun that was used somewhere else that he was told, Paul Walker, to get rid of. But, and this is found out early on in the film, but he's also a setting up like some sort of, oh, excuse me, I just had to sneeze, apologies. Setting up some sort of thing against him, so that gun's out there, and of course the ballistics is out there, and suddenly it's the race against the clock to find the kid because he's in danger, but also find the gun because we need the gun, and the way it's shot and everything just kind of moving, whatever, and it has
Yeah.
that, but that's a movie version of that, because I can tell you right now there's not much past that feeling. You know what I mean? There's no layers in this one, but um
Yes.
but it
It's an
has that,
action's action.
frantic nature that that Uncut Gems would have, essentially.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Uncut Gems. I mean, there was a lot. I found there was even with the frank
frantic nature.
franticness. Thank you. Of it. I also find it very, very deep and kind of emotional, even in in some
Oh yeah,
parts. It was,
it has layers, because it's also what to what lengths will you go,
yes,
to get one up on something, or to be,
yeah,
to, what I mean? It's like, it's at one point, is when is it enough? And that's the
yes.
whole point. Is this somebody who was living outside their means, and none of it was enough? He needed everything. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, that's definitely a good one.
Those are examples of, like, I'm not averse against the idea of those type of movies. See, um, I'm averse against anything that comes from cans. No, I'm kidding. Uh,
Speaking of cans, I feel we need to address the elephant in the room, uh,
okay.
with a little title that I know you love to death, and I know I love to death. But I think we love to death in two different ways. You want it to
Yes.
die. I will die for it. One of the
Yeah,
two.
that's what I will kill it if I
Kill
could.
it where
If
it
it was
stands.
sanctioned,
Yeah, yeah.
I will. Yes, I
Uh,
will end it.
that is, of course, the aforementioned Lost in Translation,
Oh
uh,
boy.
with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. This is one of Scarlett Johansson's early joints. This is directed by Sofia Coppola. Yes, related to Francis Ford Coppola.
There you go.
um,
That's a
and
lot.
so, and
This is
it
3 levels ahead of Frou Frou already.
so
Oh, come on, you know
yeah,
I was gonna
there's
use it
frou
at some
frou and
point
there
here.
is frou frou. You know what I
There is
mean?
Frou Frou. There is, yes.
This is definitely frou frou. No, for
French
sure.
Frou Frou.
There's no denying it. This is this is meant to capture a moment in time where two people who are lost find solace with each other in a foreign land. A
Mhm,
place that's
yeah,
completely foreign to them.
yes.
Um, but I think that's the most important aspect, and probably the aspect to me that connects the most is that they are lost and confused with where they are and are in their lives, and both of them are on two different ends of their lives. She is probably 21 in the film, or supposed to be about 21 in the film, and he is, Bill Murray, clearly in his 60s,
Mm,
at the end of his career, and he's been married for years. Basically, you end the life.
mm,
Both are lost and confused in many ways, and then they just stumble upon each other in this hotel in Japan, and in a wild, wacky visual of Japan as well, because where they go and what they end up doing, and just the weirdness of it, of just the foreign nature of what it is to be in. I mean, it's one thing to visit Europe, which is a foreign country. It's another thing to visit Japan or China. This
yeah,
is
right.
very foreign. And so having all, and then dealing with those concerns and those feelings for someone such as myself who has gone through a separation at one point from my wife, and just knowing what led to that and why things go that way. Why would anybody feel, get to that point? But you see this, you just go, yeah, you can kind of see. Not that it's right, you know what I mean? But it's just you kind of understand, and there was a certain connection with that film, and to me, it just always landed. Now it is again Sofia Coppola, and she tends to make a lot of movies that are from the angle of, shall I say, rich white folk? You know what I mean? So because of that, yeah. So she's kind of herself lived a very, I mean, hello, Francis Ford Coppola being related to him, So you live a very charmed life, if you will. So when you become a filmmaker, if you don't really have those type of things, everything kind of has that angle you're viewing from it. So I can see how in some ways it could be like, for instance, the whole,
parodying of Japan.
Parodying to Japan. It's like, okay, so basically what you're saying, you're that ugly American that everybody, me personally, don't want to be. Like I purposely do everything I can to not be the ugly American wherever I go. You know what I mean? And so I try to learn the custom, try to learn some of the language, try to, all these little things. And these two, Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, are clearly just like, we don't give a shit. We're American. We can do what the fuck we want. You know what I mean? So that's also portrayed, but it's also, I feel, me personally, this is my opinion.
We're not the problem.
I feel like that stems a lot from the writing, who Sofia Coppola is also the writer of the film. You know what I mean? So it all comes from her. So I can see that. And not that I forgive it, but I kind of put it aside like, well, if this was Lin-Manuel Miranda making the film, maybe I would, it would be obviously a little bit different, and maybe I can relate a little bit more. But
I want to see that.
I want to see that too. I want to see that too. But anyway, that's my point, is to say, that those are the reasons why I love this film. Also, a film with many layers, because it so much is shown, not spoken. Actually, what's spoken seems to be what you want to hear, or what everybody wants to hear, but it really isn't what's going on. And so you have to kind of just look what's going on. And which is why I really, really love the film. But I know it's not your favorite, sir. So by all means, go ahead and stab it to death.
There's nothing that you said there that I will dare to dispute. Nothing that was said there was wrong, except the fact that it was a good film. That's debatable. But the facts, aside from the opinion, the facts that were delivered, they are what they are. Yeah, it's
undisputed.
It's fact. It's undisputed. And that's the beauty of film. It could be led to interpretation and the way you take it and you internalize it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, going back to, Office Space. You know what I mean? It's like, I got it's a comedy. I saw it much later in my life, and I got it as a comedy. And
that was a low blow.
No. I'm not saying it's it, but it didn't hit me the way it hit everybody else.
You used it, I guess. And
no, I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to say that
I commentary on the way that corporate America sees us workers on the everyday.
Absolutely.
It is the most film that ever.
Absolutely. And from little things. I mean, let's be real. How often have we had issues with a printer at work? Okay, we have that is the quintessential problem of when we worked in an office with a fucking printer that didn't work. And how many of us wanted to go and take this shit out back and just destroy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, I got all that. I did get all that. And it does have that. And you know what? To be fair, I should probably watch it again. I've only seen it once. And at this point, it's probably been a good 7-8 years that 7-8 years ago.
That long? Wow.
Yeah. because I was still actually could be more because I was still at the apartment. This is before I bought the house. Bought the house in
Holy
2012.
shit! Wait a minute.
So
Are you sure? I thought you
yeah,
watched this like the other day, and we were having this discussion.
no. But
Oh,
I mean, considering when it came out, you know what I mean.
oh
It's
no!
like it
Right,
was a
right, right.
long time after it came out.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it was still at the apartment. This was before we moved here, and
Oh,
so to be fair, you're right. There is an actual social commentary in that film, and even though I knew and saw it at the time, because I guess the comedy portion of it wasn't there for me because I didn't find it as funny as everybody else. But again, I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it.
Did you work? Did you even work at the office before you watched this movie, or were you still doing moving and stuff like that? Because I think if you did, now will be a perfect time to
It
watch
may
this
be.
movie.
It may be. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's you know what? Experiment time. Yep. I'm gonna add Office Space to the list. Hold on, let me do that shit right now.
We need to see. We need to run these experiments again because I've worked on an office almost my entire life before I did retail, but a vast part and this movie, even though this is a stupid comedy and it's as stupid as I mean, it was written by the guys that wrote fucking Beavis and Butthead. What do you expect?
Wow.
That
Didn't know that.
exactly.
I did not know that at all.
That's
Uh,
interesting. Yeah, it's the guys from Beavis and Butthead and
Interesting.
from basketball. Same guy from basketball, I think.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think they did. So yeah, I'm not saying this is as far as brilliant cinematography piece. It's not. What this movie is just a satire comedy on the on the day to day of life in the office in general. And yes, it has its plot. You know, it's crazy. You know, it's plot that has to do with how do we get back how do we get back to the man? You know, how do we actually get our revenge? Which is something that us office workers fantasize about in the daily, you know. But these guys actually have an actual plan and they put it into motion. And of course, the plan is gonna sound very archaic because this is happening. This is pre the year 2000, so it's gonna be very archaic. However, but the thing remains. It's almost like carrying out that, you know, that revenge and the consequences that it has, because not everything is smooth sailing, but
Of course, yeah.
but
which is what would most likely happen.
just
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, but it doesn't take away that yes, this is, we leave this in the office, we fantasize about, you know, taking it to the man, and it's still like, this movie super spoke to me, even though again it's a silly movie, it's just meant to be funny for funny's sake. But you know, I'm not putting it on the I'm not putting it on a pedestal or anything like that. But it was funny that you mentioned it because
It is, and that's what I wanted to bring it up because it was like it's one of those that it didn't connect to me. And you're right. I work at an office. I worked at a doctor's office, never a regular clerical office. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So maybe
not a
that's why.
cubicle place, you
Not a
know.
cubicle play. Yeah, I never
Yeah,
worked at a cubicle play until coming to where we're at now. And
yeah.
so so maybe I didn't have that that connection the way you do. You
I
know
would
what I
love.
mean?
I would absolutely love a sequel to this in the day, in the
I
here and
would
now,
not.
or a
I
remake.
would definitely step back, sir. Stand down now. Stand down.
I would
We have
love
been
to see
we have
on
been
the
raging
year
against
the year
like sequelitis.
the year of the fucking Zoom meeting and shit like that, and I don't know, a different thing. I'm not saying direct sequel, but you know what I
Okay,
mean.
yeah.
Like a
I see what you're
commentary.
saying. A spiritual sequel, if you will.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I would
that I
fucking
can
love.
see. That I can see. Something that is not Office Space 2, but is in the essence of Office Space. But let's say if it was made today in 2022,
Yeah, right.
post COVID,
Yes,
or
exactly. But
Sure, comedy.
nobody does how to make comedies like that anymore. So who cares?
No, I know that's
That-
the only issue,
that-
and sometimes these comedies nowadays, you know how I feel about them comedies nowadays.
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Um,
But going back, I feel like pretty soon we should be closing.
yeah.
Going back to Lost in Translation.
Oh,
Because that's what we want to discuss, right? Lost in Translation is open. It's good that it's a film that could be interpreted and you took it away and all that. I fucking hate this movie. Hate is not enough of a word.
doesn't quite explain.
There's not, and we're brothers, and we tend to like a lot of fucking things. A lot of things that it's funny that not always, but for the
Some
for the
weird
most part.
stuff too, like just random stuff. We're like, really? You're like, okay, hey, we're on the same page. All right.
Yeah, this we cannot be more polar opposites to this one because it there was a lot of things that I just found that just straight appalling on it, and understandably so. I didn't have the experiences that you had, and therefore there was very little that that this movie had that spoke to me. To me, it just looked like a young 20-something and an old dude hooking up. It was not that.
I know. I mean,
it was kind of disgusting. and just the mere image just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Not to mention that absolutely 100% expectations will ruin absolutely ruin a movie if it answers. I mean, just like it could also surprise you, but in this case I was expecting something that this movie was 100,000% was not.
Yeah, you were I think you said it, you were doing like Bill Murray. Yeah, you were like Bill Murray comedies.
Not Bill Murray being like this is fucking end of life depressed depressed and making fun of Japan and
so
and having having sex with a 20-something.
They didn't have sex, for Christ's sake.
Oh, it's open to interpretation.
It's pretty clear.
In my head, they fucking did. They went all the way.
I think I know what you're talking about, and you may be confused, but no, they never did.
Hey, that's the way I interpret it. Yeah, that's the interpretation that I got. And then they went their merry ways when the hookup was over.
Yeah, they went back to their regular lives. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No,
for sure. Yeah, you're definitely walking in looking for a Bill Murray screwball comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, that is. And you know what? In retrospect, now that because you've told me this before, but now that I really sit and think about it, of all the films you could have walked into thinking it was one thing, this is literally polar opposite of any. Yeah. It's like you have Ghostbusters on one end, and you have Stripes, and fucking Caddyshack, and then you have this one which sits next to. Fucking No Country for Old Men. It's like there's no happiness in here.
I fucking love No Country for Old Men compared to this thing. I'm telling you, there's not a movie aside from Ghostbusters 2016 that I will hate. I would say that I will hate the most, and understanding that I don't compare. I say I hate them both. I say but I don't compare them because. Obviously, Lost in Translation, there's some incredible cinematography.
There's some qualities, there's some
quality and all that. And Ghostbusters 2016 was like utter piece of diarrhea garbage.
Horrible. It was just horrible. It's not even a movie. It's not a movie. It's not a film. It is a fucking waste of space.
Yes. Oh my God. It is a broken childhood, but in movie format.
In movie form, yeah.
Yes, no. But I still hate them equally the same because it did not speak to me at all.
Because they're on the same end of the spectrum.
No, they're totally not. But there's
but on the hate, the hate to like and love, they're on that side of the spectrum.
Mitigated, unbridled hate, yes.
Fair enough.
It was credit to its title. I must have lost it because I got lost. He got lost.
You know what? Yeah, that's probably. So then you know what? It did its job. How about
that? Exactly. Absolutely.
It did what it was trying to do.
It's a film. It's meant to elicit emotion. I
Yeah,
There's not a
that's
stronger
true.
emotion than hate.
And you know what? To bring us to circle this right back to the beginning, that's what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to elicit emotion. It doesn't
Yeah.
always need to elicit a good emotion. It could
No,
be a bad
but yeah,
emotion. You know what I mean?
you're
So
right.
yeah.
So
So how
good
about
job,
that?
Lost in Translation.
Good job, Lost in
You
Translation.
actually
It
excel at your
actually,
job.
yeah, it did what it was trying to do. So in the
Yes.
end, it's a film.
It's a film. That is a film's film.
It's a film. Oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our conversation here about film versus movies. Obviously, not really a versus type of thing.
3
Just
weeks
really
in the making.
3 weeks in the making. That's right. That's right. We had a lot of time to sit back and think. And I think we had an excellent conversation for the record. I really enjoyed this. Because I don't think you and I really get a chance to like share notes when it comes to this type of thing. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
love doing this. But obviously we won't do it all the time. But we definitely will bring it up when we do our, occasional movie reviews. And you know what we'll add? Is this a film or is this a movie?
Yeah,
that'll be part of
It
the
should be a thermometer. It should be leaning to one side or another. It's
yeah. I
movie
think
or film.
I think so. I think that'll be
It's
great.
time to play movie or film.
Nice. Nice. Well, guys, as always, if you haven't already, please go goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there, and please like, subscribe, share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off this week. Mr. David Santos, take us home.
You guys want a perfect example of a great movie? No, I'm sorry. It's a film that is based on the events of real life. Go watch Rogue One. A lot of people die in the making of that
Many
movie.
Bothams die.
Many Bothams die.
But if you also do want another one that is also based on real life and is definitely a movie, go watch Pain and Gain, because that shit will
Pain and
fuck you
Gain.
up.
That shit will
Because
fuck.
that
I'm
shit
just,
is fucked up.
I'm just so happy that you finally watched it. You crossed it off the list, and I know how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Also,
Now maybe someday Pulp Fiction, I'll know what you feel about it. But,
that-
well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we
we'll
get
have to make it happen. We'll have to make it before the end of the year.
Yeah. At this point, I'm already prepared for you to just come back with the, what the hell did you make me watch? already prepared for it.
Don't set expectations. Just tell me
that's just my own expectation. That's not you. That's not for you. That's my own expectations of what's gonna happen. So anyway, with that, guys, we will see you next week, hopefully. GG! I went real on that one.